Warning, the views expressed on this show are not those of Disneyland or any of its affiliated companies. This is a talk show that... These are idiots talking about stupid shit. If you're under the age of 18, tune the hell out.
Hello there. So you found your way to Wonderland.
If I were looking for a white rabbit, I'd ask the man Adam.
Really, I didn't think that.
But that's the point. If you don't think, you shouldn't talk.
Down the rabbit hole with idiots.
Oh, no, we're live.
Hello.
Isn't it amazing that every time we click live, man, the plane flies right over?
Of course. There's always some kind of shit. Whether it's the dump truck backing in, the babies across the street.
We're in
you
studio.
Guys turn me down?
Turn you down? Well, how about you check your headphones before we're actually live? You've only been here since 2 p.m. today. That's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 hours. And you couldn't test your headphones once to turn them down?
Why is he yelling?
Why would we do that?
I'm not even yelling, but
he's
that's
actually,
just, you know...
He's actually really not yelling.
Every time we start this show, it's like a goddamn episode of Retarded 24. You know what I mean? And it's me and Nathan over there trying to restart computers, get shit going, and Missy's just over here. What are you drinking over there, Tom?
I'm drinking my pineapple water.
Your pineapple water.
It might have a little extra added
Nobody
to it.
else gives a fuck. Jeff's over there just yelling, telling stories. Because every time it's a high stress situation for me and Nate, and everybody else is just like, "Hey, you guys ready to go yet? We're 5 minutes late."
Hey, wait a minute. I would like to point out that I played the Jeopardy music last week to keep you guys calm.
Well, okay, all right. Thank you for that. Thank you.
And I was fixing our backlighting earlier today.
Oh, you were fixing our backlighting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tonight on the show, well, first off, who's here?
Tom's here.
Missy's here.
Tom's here.
Stefan.
Missy, Tom, Stefan, and my name is Jake, and this is the Radio Underland show, which, we do it pretty much every Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
I think we're pretty much every Tuesday.
Much.
And tonight we are going to be talking to Libertarian presidential candidate Daniel
Berman. Yes, Berman.
And one thing that's cool is that we seem to be able to rope in these libertarian presidential candidates. We can't get Tulsi or anybody like that from the Democratic Party, but we can rope in the libertarian ones, which is, I think it's good.
Dude, she just got called. She's getting activated.
Yeah, she's going over to Indonesia.
2 months or something like that?
Yeah, she's going over to Indonesia to serve her time with the National Guard. So, anyways, you guys just keep on talking. I got to share the show around a little bit and, get some viewers going.
Sir, isn't that something you're supposed to do before the show starts?
I can't do that until we're actually live. And there's actually some groups I wanted to share this into that I did not want to share it until we're actually
live.
Live.
To make it really seem like we have our shit together, right?
Yeah,
we do.
So if I don't share it till right now, the whole intro where we're fucking around, they won't even see it.
Hey, listen, I think you guys should come down this weekend. We could charge for parking on the street.
Did you know that the neighborhoods around here are actually getting the people that live here have to have parking permits
to park on your own street?
Yeah.
I got to have a permit to park down here?
I think so, because my friend lives down the street and she had to get a parking permit to park in her own house because of the festival going on.
All right, so I think...
Hold on. I just shared it to all the Libertarian pages, so now I have to say, welcome, Libertarians. Put your guns away for a minute, because we have on tonight Libertarian presidential candidate Daniel Berman. Does that sound official? Sounds official.
That sounds great.
Taxation is theft, baby.
Taxation is theft, and we're going to be getting Daniel on the phone real shortly to talk about that. But anyways, you're talking about charging for parking, because what's going on?
The Tailgate Fest.
The Tailgate Fest here.
Little Dan, I've been trying to figure out for 2 weeks what the hell's going on in this lot up the street from my house. They got cell phone towers and porta potties. When I saw the ticket booth, I was like, oh, okay, something's going on.
It's basically a redneck stagecoach.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know.
Redneck stagecoach, huh?
It really is.
That means I will not be going.
The Tailgate Festival is going on right down the street. And the Tailgate Festival is literally you bring your truck and you can bring your own beer and your own liquor and you buy a ticket for your truck.
Yeah, they
or your
want,
vehicle.
and they're promoting it as they want your tailgate, like whoever you tailgate with, they want you to decorate it, make your own little world.
Yeah. $120.
So listen, anybody that's going that would like
a whole weekend.
that would like to park safely at a house, you can park here for the low rate of $79.95.
Shit. Is that for
That's capitalism right there. That's capitalism,
Listen,
Tom.
we got shit to pay for, goddammit.
Is that per car or?
Yeah.
No, it's per person in the car.
Oh,
That's how we roll.
Yeah, but I mean,
hey, this is prime parking, though.
It is. This is.
This really is, because it's walking distance.
no, but how much is that event? How much does that event
It's
really cost?
$100 just for general admission, like not staying the night. $120.
Yep. So you can park at my house for $80 and just walk.
Is that a good idea to have an all-day country concert with people with coolers in their car? And
Oh,
then
it's 2 days.
Can you imagine that, trying to get out of there at the
You
end of the
can
day with
camp
all
there.
this?
What?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, can you imagine after everybody's been drinking all day, a bunch of drunk rednecks trying to drive out of there in a
What could
orderly
go
fashion?
wrong? What could go wrong?
Now that is true anarchy right there.
Yeah.
I myself am trying to avoid being mass shot anywhere in Corona, so I will not be.
Well, put it. If you can bring your truck into the concert venue,
Everybody's got to go.
everybody's going to have a gun.
Pretty much.
Nobody's going to be shooting anybody there because everybody's going to have a gun hidden in their truck somewhere.
Maybe
Of
I'll feel a
course.
little bit safe then.
Yeah, it'll probably be the safest place you can go. Can you imagine the skinny Walmart kid walking in there trying to open up fire?
but
It ain't going to happen.
Here's the
Might have
thing:
a
they
problem.
can camp because it's 2 days, right?
They can
But
camp.
they have to purchase a camping ticket on the side. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gotten a Stagecoach, and you don't want to leave the party, so of course they're going to spend the extra $85 to camp.
I would. Well, actually, I probably wouldn't because I'm right down the street.
So in other words, what you're saying is we should rent
We should have our bus
a
down there.
lot somewhere and throw the same kind of party
yes.
Yeah.
on our own.
Yes.
The liability, because they also have a pool pass. I saw them. They got this one stage set up where they're going to put
Pool
like a
platform.
big portable pool, and it's massive. And that's another like $300
$350 for that ticket.
to be
get
able
in
to
the
get in the
pool.
pool.
Well,
Yeah.
it's closer, and there's 2 stages.
What about in the back of your truck if you bring a kiddie pool?
Well, you could do however you want.
Steph looks blurry.
Well, that's okay. You know, we went to those
That's how they
at
treat the black man.
at Stagecoach. You know, Stagecoach Festival, country music festival here in Southern California, probably the biggest country festival in the country. And people would do just that. I mean, the RV camping there was just massive, and people would bring pools, and there's water trucks that'd come by, and they'd fill up those pools, and everybody's having a good old time.
It's a pretty good idea.
People even would bring like spas, like those blow-up portable spas.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. They're not that expensive.
Yeah.
They're like $500.
Listen,
Yeah.
come down. Let's go buy a bunch of like ghetto cowboy hats and we'll
And
just
sell
make
them out there?
We'll make a whole bunch of money.
We'll be like the tamale lady walking in front of the venue,
with
just
all
selling
the blow
like
up plastic.
You
shit.
got no.
country
You know
shit.
which ones you should buy? We should make them. The ones that are made with the cardboard boxes of the beer.
Oh yes.
oh,
We
the beer
corner the,
hats.
we
The beer
corner the
hats.
market. Who knows how to do that? Do we know any Asian people? They're good at that. Tamagotchi.
Origami.
Whatever that shit is called.
Origami.
Origami. That's it.
Armagami?
Origami.
Origami.
No, I heard what you said. It's Armagami.
What do I
over
call
there.
it? Tamagotchi. I just make up my own shit.
Tamagotchi. Yeah,
As long as
Tamagotchi.
it sounds Japanese.
That's right.
huh?
Well, anyways, Nate, how long until you get Daniel Berman, Libertarian presidential candidate, Mr. Taxation Is Theft? Can you get him on the phone here pretty shortly? Are you about ready? Hold on, let me get your mic on. Nate wants to say something. What's up, Nate?
Well, if you want to talk to him now, you can.
Oh, we're ready. We're ready to go.
We're ready to go.
All right, let's get him on the
Let's
phone.
roll.
Let's talk to Mr. Daniel Berman. Daniel Berman, his whole big thing is taxation is theft. He's an international speaker promoting the ideas that taxation is theft, that individual freedom is paramount to the government, and that we are not government property. He is founder of the Taxation Is Theft shop and host of Taxation Is Theft podcast. Steph, is that a podcast you listen to, the Taxation Is Theft podcast?
I don't, but I should because I agree.
Yeah, I know you agree. We
I
both
don't
agree.
want to fucking give up my money for taxes.
Dan was born in Los Angeles, California, and worked successfully as a video producer. Well, we could have used him here tonight to help out with some of the video production that we've been
Depends
dying
on
with.
what kind of video he was producing.
Well, if she's from L.A., California, and a video producer. Now, since it doesn't list any film credits, I'm guessing porn.
I was gonna say
Well,
the
if his
same.
credits are located in the valley somewhere, then you know for sure.
Yeah, because anybody that works in film, they always, he's worked on films such as
San
you know,
Fernando.
Yeah, he's worked on, the Color Purple and all this other kind of shit. But if they don't list any names of the films that they've worked in and they're
Then
from Los
it's
Angeles,
porn.
California, it's porn. Guaranteed it's porn. Let's see. He's an editor for commercial and nonprofit organizations and celebrities. He is also a software engineer who has worked with multi-million-dollar international startups and Fortune 500 companies. In his career, he has never found a problem too big to solve or a hat that's too big to wear, recognizing that the best solution is often the simplest. The New York Times. Now, Steph, have you ever had the New York Times say something about you?
Never.
We've had the LA Times, and that wasn't good.
No comment.
Yeah. New York Times says that Dan Berman leads the Taxation Is Theft movement and has a website that he runs from Cancun, Mexico. He calls for eliminating the Internal Revenue Service, ending the Federal Reserve, and legalizing pineapple pizza.
Legalize
it.
Pineapple pizza?
You got to legalize it.
Okay, there's where you lose me at.
Yeah, you lost me at pineapple on pizza.
Pineapples do not belong on pizza.
No, they do not.
Ever.
Fortune Magazine. Did Fortune Magazine ever say anything about you, Steph?
I think they did, actually.
I
don't believe it was very good either.
We had Fortune and Forbes say some shit about us, and it was not too good.
I was going to say, I don't think either one of those were good.
But
hell, even Daily Mail.
I'm an LOL bully. Allegedly.
Fortune Magazine says his platform, when they're talking about his platform, they said that his platform is any person should be free to live their life however they prefer, so as long as they don't hurt others and don't take their stuff. Among other issues, Berman's campaign calls for ending the Fed, free health care, and education. So welcome on the show, Mr. Daniel Berman. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so where are you at tonight?
I am actually out of my studio in a very hot apartment right now. It's a long story. I'm on my way to Belize. I'm taking my wife there for her birthday. So this is a stop, and it is hot as hell, which is why I'm not wearing my full suit. But even my water's sweating. I brought in a nice cold water about 10 minutes ago, and it's already room temperature.
Now, I noticed on your Facebook profile, and it says here that your offices are located in Cancun, Mexico. Now, is that just to keep the feds off your back because you're talking about not getting them funded, or are you really in Mexico?
I'm really in Mexico. My wife grew up in Cancun, so that was one of the reasons we picked here. But honestly, I just love to travel. I see the world without borders. I look at a map and I see imaginary lines, and I'm like, what are those for? So I like traveling all around the world. I've really been able to, just experience so many different cultures and see how different people live. And it's really been eye-opening, and I just love to keep doing that. I don't see any point in staying in one little spot. It's like a prison to me. Okay, no offense to anybody who does that. But
now, out of all the places that you've been outside of the United States, where's your favorite?
Oh, man. I can't say. I mean, look, if I had a favorite, I'd stop moving around and I'd just stay there. I love just moving around. I want to keep moving. Every couple of years, I want to just throw a dart and a map and say, okay, let's go live there for a couple of years.
Now, you're not running for emperor or king or president of Cancun. You're running for president of the United States. So why do you care if you're a man of mystery, an international man that can go anywhere he wants and does go anywhere that he wants? Why are you so interested in becoming president of the United States of America?
Because since I was born in the United States of America, no matter where I travel on this planet, or even if I travel to Mars, the United States government wants to tax me wherever I go.
That's true.
From Mars.
Yeah, I'm sure they would get their dollars on it.
They will find a way. I guarantee it.
Okay, so before we get to the taxation thing, you grew up in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
That's right.
And how was life in L.A. for you?
Man, it had ups and downs. I kind of grew to hate it. I think a lot of people do that in, growing up in the city that they were born in. But it's a cool place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Out of my curiosity, what part of LA?
So I grew up near LAX. And as you mentioned, I did live in the San Fernando Valley for a while. I moved around a lot. Even when I was stuck in Los Angeles, every couple of years I moved somewhere else. I was in Santa Monica, Culver City, Venice. I just lived all over the place. I can't sit still.
Okay,
Nice.
Now did you attend college anywhere? Did you take any college at all, or are you a self-made man? What's going on?
So I kind of like to call myself a high school dropout. I graduated, but I just stopped paying attention, and I have no idea how I made it through. So, but I did go to community college. I actually started there early, and once I started teaching one of the classes, I was kind of like, this isn't for me. I'm not learning anything here. So I'm kind of self-educated. I learned some interesting stuff in college, but most of the stuff that I use in my career now, I'm all self-taught. So
I got you.
That's why I'm such a big advocate for things like homeschooling and self-education and that sort of thing, because there are really so many more opportunities that you can see when you do that. And life is really just much more enjoyable than when you follow the path of what the government propaganda tells you. Get your 12-year high school diploma, go to college, blah, 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 do all that stuff. I don't like living in the machine, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
All about, not
Sounds
living in the
good to
machine.
me.
Okay, so you here you are. You're living in L.A. and I'm trying to establish who Daniel Berman is. And so you're growing up in L.A.
All right.
You're easily bored, which when I'm talking about easily bored as far as your education, which happens to a lot of people that are rather intelligent. They get bored real quick trying to sit in the classroom, and they just want to get out there and actually experience it in real life. So you're moving around, you're doing that, and then you got involved in film editing.
Right.
For porn.
Well, we all made bets beforehand, and I have $5 on that you're editing porn stuff.
Porn.
I can't tell you that I have, but I can tell you that I haven't.
Okay. All right. Nailed it. Okay.
Plead the fifth.
So eventually, someplace or down the lines, what is your political background? Have you ever held any office before? Is this your first attempt? What's going on as far as your political background?
So, I ran for the Texas House of politicians who like to make rules that other people should live by. I ran against a single Democrat, and I got 23% in that race. It was a small local race. There was a population of about 100,000 people in the district. I ended up with 5,000 votes, which was 23%, which tells you about 1/5 of the district actually got out and voted. That's pretty typical in a lot of places, actually, but. I think I did a really great job there. And it was, I was still kind of learning about what politics is about at that point. I was running as a libertarian, but, I've gone through this cycle. I grew up in LA and, I'm surrounded by Democrats, and I have all the Democrat propaganda of guns are bad, drugs are bad. Well, they're kind of on the fence on that one, but taxes are good. All this other stuff. Huge government. Government should do everything, solve all our problems, solve homelessness, solve health issues, solve the environment. And then I went to Texas, and I was like, hey, guns are fun. And then I kind of became, fiscal conservative. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of like this Republican stuff. But then I realized, even though they both have good things that they're trying to sell to the voters, they're both really trying to rip everybody off. So the politicians in both of those parties are just liars and cheats. So I was like, okay, I don't want anything to do with this. So that's kind of when I stumbled onto the Libertarians. And, I've butted heads with them a few times, but I think that's where, they've got the most promising future, I think, in where this country should and can and will go.
Now, I want to hear this in your own words, because last time when we had the first time we had Kim Ruff on, and Kim Ruff is another comrade. Comrade should probably is not the word, but somebody else that's running for a presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party. And I was talking to a lot of people just leading up to that interview, and I was asking them, what is a libertarian? And they thought that they were extreme leftist. I mean, if you're a libertarian, obviously you know what a libertarian is. But there's a lot of people out there that only know Republican and Democrat. And when they hear the word libertarian, they're not even sure exactly what that means. But in your words, what is the Libertarian Party?
So there's this one fundamental principle, which is they call it the non-aggression principle, which is you don't initiate force against somebody else, which basically boils down to you don't hurt people and you don't take their stuff. Fundamentally, that can be applied to everything that you think about. When it's taxes, taxation is theft. You're stealing from somebody. You might have the noblest of causes. You want to solve world hunger, something else. You're still stealing. Does that justify it? That's a philosophical debate we can have. Are you going to shoot somebody because they had a broken taillight? Well, that's violence. We can look at all these at a philosophical level and see that you're harming somebody trying to do whatever good you're trying to do. And that's kind of at its core. Now, I will say this, the Libertarian Party is diverse, and you cannot get two libertarians to agree on pretty much anything. So when we have our conventions and there's 1,000 libertarians in the room, we're all fighting over whether or not we should add abortion to the platform, whether or not taxation is theft, believe it or not. There are all kinds of things, and I think that contributes to part of this issue where some people think we're crazy left, some people think we're crazy right. And what I've really been trying to do is figure out, okay, we have people on the left and people on the right who haven't heard this message before. What I want to do is, because I have so many people come up to me and say, oh, you don't want to pay taxes. You want to see all the poor people starve in the streets, and you want to see children go without health care and all these other things. That's absolutely not true. We just want to find a different way to provide that without paying taxes, which actually means you can provide it for yourself with really low prices, but the Democrats are trying to drive the prices up. So my interest is kind of more into the messaging and how do we get this message out to a lot of other people, whereas libertarians are usually, they just like to sit around saying, yeah, legalize fully automatic guns. Yeah, legalize heroin. Yeah, no taxes. And that's kind of about it. And of course, you sound like a nut when that's all you're talking about. So I try to go a little bit beyond that.
Well, let's talk about Medicare or healthcare for a second.
Sure.
Because I believe that you do believe that we should get free health care, but how do you implement that in a libertarian fashion?
So here's the thing. We have to understand what the word free means. Free does not mean zero cost of acquisition. Free means you are free. You are liberated. You are able to make your own decisions and do whatever you want, as long as, of course, you don't hurt anybody or take their stuff. So what we think we have, like a lot of people are told we have a free market system when it comes to healthcare in the United States. The truth is we don't. It's very far from it. If we did have a free market system, what that would mean is the cost of our drugs, the cost of our doctors and care and everything else would plummet. And I have a lot of doctors and medical researchers who are on board with this plan. Basically, here's the thing. If you look at some of the medications we have in the United States, like insulin, it costs $100 for a vial of insulin in the United States. If you go to Colombia, where one of my friends who's a doctor was just there, and he bought the same vial for $25. The cost to actually produce it in either place is somewhere between $3 and $5. So why do they sell it for $100 here, and why do they sell it for $25 there? Well, there's only 3 companies that are allowed to sell it in the United States. We can't import it from another country because it's illegal. Who decided it's illegal? The government. Why did they decide it's illegal? Because the big pharma is basically lobbying for government, saying, hey, make sure people can't import these drugs because we want to be able to charge a higher price here that we know that Americans can afford, but Colombians couldn't. So really, we have no free market system. We have the illusion of a free market system. And by getting all these government regulations and prohibitions out of the way, we're actually going to see the cost of healthcare decline so far that we'll be able to afford it without needing insurance, without needing government assistance and all these other programs, which means we don't have to pay taxes. So it's really a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the Republicans who don't want to pay. They don't like Obamacare. They don't like high taxes. And it's a win for the Democrats because you're able to get the healthcare that you want and need without having to steal from anybody else and without having to go through all these government loopholes that basically prevent you from getting what you need.
Okay, so you lift the regulation. Okay, so now we have insulin that we're getting at, let's call it $25 a vial instead of $100. Okay, so that's great. Our prescriptions start coming in at a lower rate because we're not having the government regulate who can sell here, and it's more of an open free market the way that the country was initially set up. But how does that help us when we're talking about, so I understand that takes care of the prescription drug problem, and I can see that. But how does that help when somebody has a quadruple bypass because they've been eating McDonald's their whole life, and they rack up $150,000 or whatever it is in hospital stay, ER, all that kind of stuff. Now, for a lot of people in this country, you put a $150,000 bill on them for medical, and there's no way that they'd be able to pay that. So how do you bring that down to something that's more realistic for your everyday people? Especially, I'm talking about middle class and, lower middle class and the poor.
So there are a few things to look at. One, that's what insurance is for. We have this concept right now that we're going to pay insurance, but insurance should cover pre-existing conditions and all these other things, when really, no, you should, it doesn't make sense. There's an insurance company, I'm going to give them $1,000 a month and they're going to give me $5,000 a month in care, and it's going to be like that for the rest of time. That doesn't make any sense. Insurance is literally gambling. So what insurance is there for, and we'll take care of getting the $5,000 part by saying, that's the previous problem of the cost of insurance. It'll cost less than that to get your medications. But insurance is there for catastrophic things that just come up out of nowhere, right? You have a heart attack. That's what you can be paying insurance for. And if insurance only has to pay for that sort of thing, your cost is going to be much lower. Now, here's the other interesting thing. I had a friend who went in for a procedure that was, it was something like, it was a couple $1,000s. And basically he said, well, I don't have insurance. And they said, okay, well, it's a couple $100s. So what happens is these the hospitals, what they actually do is they have to inflate their prices because they have all these special deals with a lot of insurance companies that say, we'll give you a 70% discount because the insurance company feels good about that. So what they do is they just jack their prices way up so that they can give the discount to the insurance company and they feel good about it. So when you get the bill and it says 150 grand and you tell them, hey, we're going to pay cash, they might drop it to like 10 or 15 grand, right? Now, here's another interesting thing. The doctors need to get paid a lot, and there's also a lot of overhead with administrators and regulations and lawyers and administration. There's so much cost in that can go away if you get rid of the regulation. And again, we have to understand that doesn't mean we're going to be less safe, because that's not what regulation is about. Regulation isn't making sure you check, cross the T's and dot your I's. It's about making sure that you do things in a way that are making a lot more money for certain special interests. That's what the regulations really do. Now, what's interesting is that they actually limit the number of doctors we have. So if you understand the basic economics of supply and demand, if there are twice as many doctors, they're going to lower their prices because, hey, they're going to be fighting for your business. Hey, no, let me do your triple bypass. No, let me do your triple bypass, right? But when we live in a world where, no, you have to wait for 6 months to get your triple bypass and like the waiting list is forever long, they're able to charge whatever they want because they know you're going to pay it because, hey, someone's going to pay. If you can't pay it, someone else will take your slot and they'll pay it. The government, through their regulations, actually limits the number of doctors that we have. They limit the number of residencies that we have. There are fully qualified doctors coming to this country from India, from the Philippines, from all over the world, and they're not able to practice because they have to go through years and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of training and re-education just to conform to the United States system in order to perform these. So that's why we see a lot of medical tourism where people are actually going outside of the country to get these things done for a fraction of the price, and they're actually getting, it's the same quality of care. It's not like, oh, well, I don't know, are they going to give me like a fake heart that's not going to work in, a couple months? It's not that. It's the same quality of care,
which is actually, and that's actually illegal. If you have insurance in the U.S., you're not supposed to go outside the U.S. to seek medical help. It's actually It's actually against the law.
It is. I didn't know that.
I believe it.
Yeah, they regulate everything.
Because and Rogan talked about that because he had some like procedures into his knee. He had like bloodletting, and he went to like Germany to do it, but he had to do it kind of secretly because you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed, unless it's like emergency, like they can't. Everywhere. Yeah.
You know the crazy thing about that? Why should the government be able to determine you as a person where you can and cannot go to help yourself if you're having a serious health problem?
Well, and that's why a lot of people try to go overseas for like cancer treatment, because a lot of other countries do like holistic medicine versus like chemo and stuff like that.
Yeah, but my thing is should the government have that kind of power over us, where they could say, okay, absolutely, you know what, you have insurance, and yeah, you can go to another country because they're doing all this new stuff that we can't do here, or no, you cannot go because you're paying for insurance here, and that's against our law. Like.
Yeah, well, I see, I'm not too familiar with that. I don't know if it's an actual government regulation or it's an insurance company regulation. Like if you're uncovered by our insurance,
against the law is against the law.
Well, but
it's not a hospital law. It's not an insurance law.
An insurance company can have things in their policy that go above and beyond the laws of our land. And, just like you buy an electronic from Best Buy and you can't open up the back of it or you void the warranty. That's not a federal law. That's just the law of that manufacturer that we're not going to fix it if you void and open up the back of your TV. And so I don't know specifically about this situation, but it could be very similar to that, where the insurance says that they're going to drop their policy on you if you're going to Mexico to get your teeth fixed or your whatever, chemotherapy, whatever you're doing. I don't know the specifics on that.
Breaking the law then.
But anyways, yes.
White Claw breaking the law.
Yeah. Okay, so and you're right. There's some things about the Libertarian Party that swing a little to the left, and there's things that swing far to the right. But what are some fundamental differences between the Libertarian Party and let's just first line up against the Republicans? What's something that a Republican platform that they believe that the Libertarians absolutely say, no, that's not what we believe?
So I think the Republicans are a little bit more for foreign intervention and maybe subsidizing other nations through foreign aid. They say they're fiscally conservative and they like cutting taxes, and sometimes they do cut taxes, but they don't cut the spending. And ultimately, the spending is the tax, because as we're seeing right now with Trump and his record deficits, he cut the taxes, but either he's going to have to raise them back up to make up that difference, or the next Democrat's going to come in and say, oh my God, we have to raise taxes. And of course, Democrats are okay with raising taxes. Bernie wants 90%. So I think we're a little bit more knowledgeable of the entire system as a whole. We look at the Federal Reserve as a bad thing. It manipulates money markets. It's the way it manipulates currencies and international affairs it's really amazing what they can do with that. And the Republicans seem to be okay with that. They're very closed border. We're very open border. So I think those are a lot of the things. We complain about some of the same things together. So, it's really about finding that middle ground, because the reality is what I like to do on this campaign is figure out, okay, Republican, I want to get you everything that you want, all the pros, like, lower taxes and, safety and security and all these things that you want. Terrorism is the number one thing that Republicans are worried about. I want to make you feel safe, and I want to save all your money from the government. And I'm going to get you that. Don't worry about what I'll work that out with the Democrats, because of course the Democrats hate that because they want to take all their money to pay for their programs. I'll take care of the Democrats, but I have a way that's going to make both sides happy. This is the side you worry about. And they're very accepting of that. So that's kind of the thing. We got to find the common ground with them.
Yeah. Okay. Taxation. Now, we just had, like 5 million people said they're willing to storm Area 51, which was, nuts. But, if people really want to make a change, why don't we have half the country just stop paying taxes altogether? But
right.
The premise of taxation is theft. What are you basing that on?
It's by definition, it's theft. By the way it's collected, it's theft. So picture it this way. The smallest tax, whatever it may be, if you don't pay it, they will take it from you forcefully. They'll either go to your bank account, they'll seize your assets, whatever, they'll take it. If you try to hide that money overseas, if you try to hide the assets, they will charge you with evasion, they'll escalate it, and they'll say, we're taking you to jail. If you try to resist that, they're going to hurt you. If you really try to resist it, they might kill you. This is what tax is. There is no law so small that they're not willing to kill you over it, and that includes the laws that levy taxes. So philosophically, fundamentally, and by definition, it is absolutely theft. There's no way you can get around that.
But what would happen to this country if everybody stopped paying taxes tomorrow?
The infrastructure.
The infrastructure. Mm-hmm. I don't know the percentage of people that are employed by the government, but I'm assuming it's probably pretty high. Mm-hmm. But what would happen if everybody stopped paying taxes?
Well, we'd see a lot of interesting change, but it's not change that we need to be worried about. I mean, there was a huge industry on typewriter. I was talking about typewriter repair earlier today. That was a huge industry. People used to sell typewriters. There used to be a repair shop for typewriters where I grew up. What happened to all those people? Like, are they like so concerned about their jobs that, oh my God, what are we going to do? Did they all die because they couldn't repair typewriters anymore because nobody uses them? No, they found other things to do. And that's the reality. I mean, we're looking at a challenge of automation, how automation is going to replace a lot of jobs in the future. We're looking at how we're outsourcing a lot of these to other countries. Like, it's just a change. It's not something that we need to be worried about. Now, one of the problems we do need to worry about is, and I've seen this around the world, where people are able to live without jobs. It's not always a glamorous life, but that's because they kind of never had a job in their life, right? So they live very simple lives. If you've had a job and you saved up money, then you have a better life, and you can hold on to that and continue to keep that quality of life. But here's what government does. Government comes along and says, oh, you have a house? We're going to tax it. So even if your house is paid off, you've been working your whole life, you're ready to retire, you have to pay taxes on that for the rest of your life. And if you want to inherit that to your children, well, your children are going to have to continue to pay to pay that property tax. So through all of these taxes, what they're essentially doing is they're forcing you to go out and get a job just to keep what you already have. And if you look at it fundamentally, that's kind of a system of slavery, because you're forcing people to work when people are like, hey, I can stop working and I can just live at home and maybe some people are into like growing their own food and trading with their neighbors, but that's illegal now. So we've gone from a system where you used to be able to live freely on your own to a system where we're all completely dependent on this system. And we need to take a serious look at that, and how can we move past that?
It's interesting that you say that. I remember reading an article before about an older gentleman. He was in the South somewhere, maybe Tennessee or Georgia or something, and he had completely separated his home from the city systems. And the city sued him twice, and then eventually sent him to jail because he was not attached to any of the city services.
Totally off the grid.
No power, I think it was the water. He was collecting rainwater, and the city had deemed that it was illegal and it was against the law for him to do that and not be attached to the city services.
And I've heard other places where cities and towns put it into effect that you have to have at least one public utility.
At least one, and I think that's most cities nowadays.
Yeah, which is because we think of the old idea of the Old West, where you stood on your land, you raised your own cattle and your own farm and all that other kind of stuff.
Well, that was before
that's it. What Dan's saying right there is that's exactly true. That is an impossibility now.
Yeah,
we
live in a country now where of course you have like problems like eminent domain, where if they're going to build a freeway through your house, you're either going to leave forcefully or they're going to pay you off and you're going to take the money and go.
Well, and that brings up a good point, Dan. Like something like, okay, let's talk about this no taxation type of civilization, and let's say that we did want to build a new highway or something like that. How does that kind of infrastructure in the future without taxes? How does that get paid for?
Well, the first thing you have to ask is who wants to build that highway. And once you figure that question out, you'll have your answer. If it's Amazon, because they have all these trucks that are driving back and forth all over the country to deliver their packages, and they need a new road somewhere, they'll build it because they can't get to those customers to make that money if they don't have a road there. If we look at every road that's in the entire country, except for the roads to nowhere, which were built by government, of course, they were all built for some private purpose. Somebody wanted that road built. And in a lot of cases, a private company will go petition the government and say, hey, I need a road here. Can you build it? And they'll say, well, yeah, let me just reach into the taxpayers' pockets and I'll build it for you. And it might be a developer who's like, yeah, I want to build tract housing over here. I want to build 1,000 houses. I want to build a mall, or I want to build an airport or an amusement park, but I need a road to it. They go to the government and say, yeah, build a road for me.
Yeah,
and the government builds the road. Like, how are you going to have an airport with no road to it? Build the road yourself. How are you going to build a Walmart or a mall or any of these things? Build your own road.
And then for residential, the people end up paying it because they pay like HOA or Melrose tax for the infrastructure.
Maintain it, yes. But who would even buy that house in the first place if it didn't have a road to it? And that's how the utilities are actually put there. A developer will go to a utility company and say, hey, we're making this new development. We need you to put down the water pipes. We need you to put down the phone poles. We need you to put in internet even now, because we got to make sure these houses are all wired for internet, because nobody's going to buy a house that doesn't have these things.
All right now today, and I'm sure you're way more caught up on this than I am, because I'm not really a political guy at all, but how much are we paying in taxes today?
Close to about 50% of our income. If you take all of the money that's collected by the federal, state, and local governments, and you divide that by the 320 million people in this country, it's about half of what the average income is, which isn't even really fair to say, because now you're dividing it among also the children who aren't paying taxes. So it's more than 50%. That includes all the taxes, fines, fees, levies, penalties, all this other stuff.
You're talking sales tax, gas tax, all the taxes.
Everything. Now, here's what's interesting about gas tax, which kind of blows people's minds a lot of the time. Every single day, $180 million in gas tax. That's how much we pay across the country.
Wow. And
if you add in licenses and registrations and traffic tickets, it goes up to $250 million per day.
Yeah. That's a big number.
That's a lot of money, right?
Well, and that's the question is what, it begs the question is, where is all that money going?
It's not all going to roads, which is where it's supposed to go. But you know how politicians are. Well, we have extra money here. Instead of lowering the tax, let's just, I got this project over here. Let's do something else with it.
You know, the thing that throws me too, and it really murders us all. Think about, like, for example, 91 freeway. Mm-hmm. Think 10 years ago, before there was fast track, you got in the HOV lane and you went from place to place all through Orange County, no problem at all. You just paid your regular road tax. Then they take away the HOV lane, decided, what we're going to do? We're going to put in a fast track. We're going to tax you guys extra money to pay for this fast track, and then when it's finished, we're going to charge you to use it. So we paid for the roads, and now we're paying to use the roads that we paid for.
Yeah, and right here locally in Southern California, he's talking about a specific freeway that goes from the Inland Empire into Orange County.
Yeah, Southern California.
And how much do those fees get up to? Don't they get up to like $21, $22?
$25 sometimes.
$25 toll.
Yeah, $25.
One way.
Have you ever been on there's like going to San Diego, I think there's like a private toll road. Have you ever been on that one?
That's the same thing. That's the fast track.
You're talking about the one that cuts from the main one.
The 241 or something like that.
Yeah.
When it goes down to 8, a portion of it is down to 15, actually, when you cross like Escondido.
Oh, that section where they run it one direction during the day, one direction. Anyways, these toll roads, and I'm sure in a tax-free society it would go to the direction of more roads like that being privately built, and sure, in the scenario that you said, Amazon needs to build a freeway from point A to point B, and they're going to recoup their money back by making it into a toll road for the normal public that uses it. But that could get costly. That could get really costly.
Sure, but if you consider that $250 million a day that we're paying is supposed to go to roads, and they're not even using all of that for the roads, and of course they're not maintaining the roads. And then when they do maintain the roads, they way overpay for it with no bid contracts that some politician's cousin owns the road company. Right. If you factor that all in, the cost of maintaining a road is actually a lot lower. And if you look at the price of what you're going to spend on toll roads, it's actually less than you're paying for the gas tax. So if you get rid of the gas tax, your gas is going to be cheaper, and you're going to pay for the tolls as much as you actually drive on them, but you're ultimately going to save money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me just ask you this general question. Okay. And I'm sure you're just going to say it's horrible, but what is your general feeling about the government that we have in place today?
Oh, it's horrible.
See, nailed it.
But yeah, I mean, every aspect of it that we look at, sometimes they do things with the best of intentions, but there is no system of checks and balances. We think like, it's separate branches, so checks and balances, but there isn't. Look at the DMV, right? You walk into the DMV, you have a terrible experience. The wait time is low. The people are rude to you. And then what do? Who do you call and complain to? Nobody. But now if you walked into the Apple store and one of the customer service agents was rude to you, and they have a really great way of letting you wander around and make sure they get your name when you walk in, and somebody was rude to you there, what do? You tell the manager, and what are they going to do? They're going to fire somebody. But that doesn't happen at the DMV. Why? Because ultimately they don't care about losing customers, because ultimately you can't lose a customer. They have you like chained in shackles from ever leaving.
The thing about the DMV is one of the only systems in California that's set up that's not funded by the government. They're self-funded. So all your registration fees and stuff like that, they kick a portion back to the government, of course. But the monies that you spend and then use for all your registration and shit like that DMV. Goes to the DMV system itself.
Right, but what is? Why are they? That's like the cartel kidnaps people and then they extort people for money and say, oh yeah, $100,000 if you want them back, and they fund themselves, so it's okay. They're not working on taxpayer money, but they're robbing people, which is exactly what the DMV is doing.
Agreed.
Because it's like, wait, I bought the car and you're going to charge me a tax every year just to have this car that I bought. And it turns out this is all smoke and mirrors, by the way. I've been driving without registering cars and without a driver's license for the past 10 years all over the United States, mostly in Texas. But it's all smoke and mirrors, and you really don't even need this stuff because it's a contractual law that they try to get you into a contract to, that's how they extort you. When you get stopped for a traffic ticket or a broken taillight, it's not an actual crime. When's the last time you went to court to fight a traffic ticket and they said, here's your public defense attorney, here's your jury trial, go get prepared? That doesn't happen because it's not an actual crime, and those are constitutionally guaranteed rights for any crime. Any crime, no matter how small.
Wait a minute.
Here, they'll tell you it's a privilege and not a right.
Wait. So you're driving around without license and registration.
Propaganda.
And so you just take it, you just risk it, and if you ever get stopped, and they're not going to arrest you over it, they're just going to write you a ticket to give you a court date, and you're going to show up, and you're going to pay a fine, and you're probably making out saving a lot of money over the rest of us schmucks that are paying for the registration and the. But I mean,
except here they'll take your car away.
If I showed up and if I paid the fines, but I don't.
If I showed up and paid the fines, that's why he's living down in Cancun, Mexico.
Actually, I'm here for the weather. Like, I go back to the United States all the time, and I'm happy to drive. And I have lots of tickets, and I've been stopped time and time again. And I've actually sent. So there's a law. There's one of very few laws that are actually in our favor called the Fair Debt Collections and Practices Act law, which basically means a creditor or somebody who thinks that you owe them money is not allowed to harass you. And I've used this law with credit card companies. I've helped my friends get out of like lawsuits. My friend was getting sued by a credit card company for $5,000, and they dismissed the case because they had no proof of it. I use this same law on traffic tickets and parking tickets and police departments that have been calling me, hey, we gave you a ticket, you got to send us money. And I send them a letter, certified mail, saying, I'm not going to pay it. And if you continue to harass me, I'm going to sue you under this federal law. And then they just stop calling.
I need that hookup right there.
I need that.
Can we get that letterhead?
Can I get my $425 back from a ticket?
But here's the thing: we were talking about you can't go to another country because of, and of course we haven't confirmed exactly how it is. But let's say it's because of a term in the contract that you signed. That's exactly what they do with your driver's license. So once you have your driver's license, that's a contract, and if you get stopped with that driver's license and they give you a ticket and you sign that ticket, that's another contract. You are now contractually bound for all these things. And if you breach that contract, now they have legal cause to go after you to collect all this money. So and I don't recommend this because you really have to know a lot just to live a free life, which really sucks. And that's one of the reasons I kind of got into this. We shouldn't have to be lawyers just to be free. But one of the reasons I don't recommend it is because it is difficult. And if you don't know the right things to say, you can really get caught up in that system and end up in jail, and a lot of bad things can happen.
So you get pulled. I mean, do you drive around a car when you are here? Do you drive around a car that has expired registration on it?
For a while, I had plates that were expired. After that, because I kept getting stopped for that.
Yeah.
I bought another car that just didn't. It had those dealer plates that they used to have in California, which was just like an ad, not an actual plate. And then I got stopped a couple times for that, and I was like, man. So I just put like some weird looking random printed barcode on the back of my license plate, so when cops saw it, they would just be like, oh, it must be from out of state, and they wouldn't harass me.
The funny thing behind that is,
why get stopped if you don't have to?
They actually, now they're illegal, the printed plates from the dealership.
They're illegal now.
They're illegal. Yeah, the one that used to have like the dealership names on.
Yeah, those are illegal. Now you have printed paper plates.
So they went from printed plates to printed plates.
And here in California, if you're caught driving around a car that the registration is over how old? But anyways, they'll over if your car has expired registration over 6 months and you get pulled over, they have the right to impound your car right there. I'm not saying they have the right, but the laws are in place that have given them.
Well, here's an interesting question. What's the difference between expired registration and non-registration?
Nothing.
No, there is. It's called non-operative in California, and you pay a fee to not have your car be legal.
But yes, that's another category.
He's talking about a car that's never been registered.
Or unregistered, where you actually send a letter to the DMV and say, hey, I don't want this contract with you. I'm going to, you say you're exporting to a foreign jurisdiction, which basically means you're taking it out of the control of California's jurisdiction, and it is no longer under their registration.
Yeah, okay, so what if you were to get pulled over...
He's unregistered. No,
they cancel your registration. No, it's called an export.
Unregistering the car to export it to another country.
Yeah, it's called an export. They actually take the title and they stamp a big red stamp on it that says export. And you were not able to register that car in California at all, or actually, I think most states now. It's only like an out of the country thing. When it has that export stamp on there, I don't think you can go next door.
And if you get pulled over with that thing on with an export,
they'll take it.
They'll take your car.
Yeah, because they put they put something on the registration through the DMV so that the cops can figure out
what if you just say, but I'm making my way to that other country. I'm driving there.
I also know you say, Jeff said the 6 month thing. The 6 month thing is bullshit too, because if your car is on the road, it's the cop's prerogative. It's up to him. It doesn't have anything to do with DMV or 6 months time.
They can write your ticket if it's expired.
They can, depending on the situation, they can impound your car on the spot. Well, ticket, no ticket. They can impound it just for not having a current registration.
Yeah,
that is possible, and it does happen. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
That might be one reason why I left California. But Texas is a little bit... they haven't impounded my car, except for one time when I didn't have insurance on me. But
So you do have insurance. You do believe in insurance.
Yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing. Insurance is good in case you get into an accident. Like what I do have a problem with is that, I don't like that the government mandates it, but I do think it's a great thing. I wear my seatbelt. I don't like that there's a seatbelt law, but I wear it because of safety. I use my headlights at night.
That's another thing here.
All right.
No insurance, they cancel your registration.
Yeah. Well, I mean, California, we got everything. I mean, we pay a lot here in the state of California.
Yeah,
we really do. We really do.
Let me ask you a question. I asked Kim this question. Do you think that the government is too broken to be fixed? Like, do you think we are? Do you think we are past the point of no return?
If I thought that, I would have moved to Mexico instead of trying to run for president and fix it.
No, but I don't mean from a libertarian perspective. Because that's a different mindset. I mean from a red and a blue. Like, right. Is it just too broken to have red and blue?
No, I think we're going through a phase right now, especially when we talk about red and blue. We're going through a phase where, a lot of people are waking up to the reality of what government is. And so they give us a lot of these things to fight over, to keep us distracted from the real issues that they don't want us to talk about. We see this with a lot of politicians. I think that's one of the reasons Trump may or may not have been hated. I think he's still kind of part of that system, even though a lot of people say he's not, or at least he plays well with those people. But we are very divided in that way. And I think what we need to do, and going back to that's kind of the whole purpose of my platform, is to figure out how do we get people together to understand we can all get what we want if we just stop trying to steal from each other. And I think that's, it's something, some people say it's part of the human experience. We have to go through this. We have to live. We have to learn. We have to grow culturally to kind of understand this. And it's not something government can fix, but it's something where, if as thought leaders, we can kind of put this message out there and people start to hear it and understand it. Like, yeah, what are we fighting over? This is really pretty stupid. We could be doing so many more things that are productive, like enjoying life and being happy. Why are we fighting over stupid things that, most of it, we don't even know if it's true or not, because it's coming from, through the grapevine of.
Uh-oh. We lost the call.
Oh, no.
I think that's.
He's back.
There it is.
That's fast.
I figure the internet in Cancun's maybe not that strong.
Yeah, that Cancun internet.
Yeah.
The federales just shut up his house and he has to pay $10 to continue the call. So, okay, well, he's back. Okay, so we've got this radical trend right now of the left, or a faction of the left going extremely left, the Bernie Sanders, etc., going to this level of socialism, and they're flat out branding it as socialism. But explain to the kids that are listening that have a beard fetish that watch this show. Explain to them why socialism is bad for America. I want to hear it from your words.
So I think here's the thing. Socialism has a very great premise, which is that we're all going to have better lives and we're all going to stop getting ripped off by capitalism or by big corporations or whoever's ripping us off. That's the promise. And it sounds like a great promise to somebody who they're young, they haven't experienced politics yet. They're very new to it. It sounds like a great thing, right? It's like, Bernie Sanders offering tuition-free college or, free healthcare for all these things. Like, they sound great. Who wouldn't want that? Seriously.
Of course.
A lot of people don't want it because they understand, like, yeah, that's just the bait on the hook. We know what it's going to reel us into. We know everything else that's behind it. And so therefore we know it's a bad idea. So I think what's really important for, young people to see that are, starting to think this message is that, look, it's not big businesses and corporations that put you into this place where life is so difficult. Or if they did, they didn't do it alone. They did it with the power of government. They did it with the power of a gun behind them. They did it through, we all have, like I said earlier, we all have to get jobs because government created artificial scarcity by taking from us. They create artificial scarcity to the point where, oh my God, we can't survive. We need to go get jobs and we need to get other people to give us stuff because we can't survive on our own. But we've been surviving on our own as a species for tens of thousands of years, and so many other species are able to do that. Why can't we? And so many people around the world are actually allowed to do it and are able to do it. And of course, a lot of us look at them and say, oh, yeah, but they're in poverty. which isn't really true. A lot of people are actually enjoying their lives. Now, there are people in poverty who don't have a lot and who don't have jobs and who aren't into that system. But you have to understand the difference between those and the people who just live that way and not in poverty. But I think that's the really important thing. So for people who like they're struggling, they don't know what to do with their lives. They don't want to go to college. They can't afford it. They don't want to get a job, and that job doesn't pay for anything. Oh my God, what am I going to do with my life? We really need to understand, like, okay, these are reasonable concerns, and you're not a bad person for thinking, socialism is a great idea, but you do need to be educated about what it actually is and that there is a better way.
Yeah, I'm pretty lazy. That sounds good to me. No school, no work. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of the barter system. Like, if I could, I'd just move to Hawaii and live off the land, grow my own shit.
Oh, we were literally just talking about that.
And just barter back and forth.
Yeah, I don't, government taxes, money, what's all that shit? I just grow my own food and fucking live my life. It'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I strive for that when I retire.
But it's so true. In the mentality today is, we want to tax another 2% to save starving puppies, and you say, well, no, I don't want to pay for starving puppies, and then you have all these leftist liberals say, well, what, you hate starving puppies? What kind of asshole hates starving puppies? But the thing they don't realize is just because it's something that's good in concept doesn't mean it's good for our economy, and that's what we should be doing. I don't know. It's such a slippery slope, especially when you're talking to the younger generation,
And here's what's really interesting. Like you talk about starving puppies. There are actually nonprofit charities that are out there helping dogs. Even in Mexico, Brazil, all over the place. I've seen some people have hundreds of dogs and a couple acres of land, and they just feed these stray dogs and they give them a place to live. There are places that do that in the United States. But what happens is you have churches who say, okay, I want to let homeless people sleep in the churches at night. And the government comes along and says, well, we're going to give you a $10,000 fine because you're not zoned for a hotel. You have people who are giving out food to the homeless, and the government comes along and pours bleach all over it. You have homeless people who are sleeping in tents on the side of the road or under the overpasses, and the government in the middle of winter in Colorado, and the police are coming by with knives to slash their tents up. And you have to ask, is that really a government that really cares about the people?
No.
Or are they going to take your money and do something else with it?
No, because if the government was there for the people, I mean, they would let the church, and I've been involved in situations like that where churches are trying to feed the homeless and they get shut down by the local government because they don't have the permits or the food handler cards or whatever.
Whatever.
Even
they want to have
that,
an excuse to raise taxes.
If they didn't tax us so much and people were actually, God forbid, able to take care of themselves, then maybe we wouldn't have so many homeless people in the first place.
And look at how people get homeless. I mean, there are many different reasons, but some people get homeless because they lose their home because they couldn't pay the property tax. Some people lose their homes because the bank wasn't making any money, which that's a whole government-backed system. A lot of people hate banks for how they take over property, but that whole system is a system of fraud where they're inflating the currency and inflating the market. Just like they did in 2008, except the government usually keeps it under a little bit of control, so it's not this widespread epidemic, but it's the same thing that's always going on. And that's all through government policy that basically says, fraud is going to be legal now. So it's, every
Very
aspect you look at, get government out and your life will be better. And it's kind of difficult to see if you don't understand the complexity of the system. But it's like, if you look at anything and you don't understand how it works, it's magic. Like that's that's what they call it. Like seeing the guy with the two rings and he connects it. Oh my God, magic. How did he do that? But then you learn, the rings aren't actually rings. They're actually just circles with an opening. Oh, that makes total sense now. Once you understand how it works, it's not magic anymore. And then you're like, we're getting scammed here.
But now here's the $6 million question. Can you get enough people to buy into that where you get them away from the red or the blue, where they go, you get them to unite on this front where they say, okay, you know what, it's time to get rid of that system and come up with a brand new system?
It'll never happen.
Do you think we're at a place where we can get there?
We're always at a place where we can get there. It's never too late to start and to get anywhere. I think, because this is truth, you can only cover up truth for so long, right? Eventually truth comes out. And once you know the truth and a lie, people are going to say, well, that's a lie. I know the truth. So as more people learn the truth, then it's just going to continue to expand. They're going to share the truth with others. And that's kind of how it grows. It might take a very long time, but it is working. We are reaching more people all the time with this message. We're reaching hundreds of thousands of people every week. And we actually just started today with a digital billboard that's going up in Texas that just says "Taxation is Theft" with the Berman 2020 logo next to it. So people are going to see this. They're going to get the message. I wear this hat everywhere through airports. People stop me. They're Democrats or Republicans, and they resent it. But we have a conversation, and I educate them a little bit, and they're like, "Oh, actually, that does kind of make sense." Especially, Democrats who love taxes. How are we going to pay for all these great, wonderful things? And I say, well, do you like the bombs that they're paying for? And they're like, oh, God, no. Then they're like, well, so what do we do about that? And I say, well, what if you had control over how the money is spent? And they're like, yeah, I like that. What if I had control? How do we do that? I say, well, just keep the money in your pocket and spend it yourself. And they're like, I don't know, but the seed is there, and they start thinking about it.
The problem is we have too many sheep and not enough wolves. Too many people who will just follow the law because it was placed there in front of them. Is so much easier for people to follow than it is for them to lead or try to make a difference. You know what I mean? Oh, okay, well, I'll just pay my taxes and I'll just go through my life,
but
living check by check.
Like myself, like I used to be afraid just to say like, hey, taxes are like not even theft, just like taxes are wrong, because I would be like, if I even try to challenge the IRS, they're going to throw me in a jail cell. And I had to kind of get over that. And now that I'm kind of leading this, wearing a giant yellow hat that says "Taxation is Theft" on it, people are actually like waking up and getting behind me on it and saying like, yeah, I've always wanted to say something, but like I've always been afraid of them. And so now they can get behind me and support me and not worry about the IRS coming after them. So I think that's a really important part of this, because you need a good, solid leader to take you into a battlefield. Especially, when there are a lot of people who are afraid of something as big and scary as the IRS, which actually is not that big and scary when you find out what it really is. But yeah, that's really what we need, and that's why I'm making such a big effort to do that.
Yeah. If you can make the IRS not so scary, I'd appreciate that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. But who is that one anarchist that we had on the show? I think he was on the same show as Whitney, Wisconsin.
What the hell was his name?
Well-known anarchist, but he did a lot of time regarding not paying his taxes. Yeah.
If they can get Wesley Snipes, they'll get anybody.
Larkin
Rose.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks Wesley Snipes went to jail for not paying taxes, right? He was just a regular average Joe like us. He just had a really big paycheck, and he didn't pay the taxes on it, and he went to jail. If I got a copy of his indictment and I went through it, what happened is, and there's I don't like to call it a legitimate tax, but in more or less legal terms, it's legitimate, is a tax on corporations. And the IRS does legally have the power to tax corporations, and technically they're legally not supposed to be taxing people like us who are working and getting a paycheck. But they do have a right to tax corporations, because that's a contract. Remember, we talked about contracts with the driver's license. You go to the government and you say, hey, I would like to be protected with the protections that a corporation offers. And they say, yes, as long as you pay these taxes. And that's the contract that you have now. Wesley Snipes had, I think, about 4 different corporations that he was receiving his money through. And on top of that, he was shifting the money around he was trying to get some sort of exemption that way. So they actually charged him with money laundering on top of the fact that they're able to legally tax a corporation. But there are a lot of people, go check out a guy named Joe Bannister, who actually used to be a special agent for the IRS. And he quit filing his taxes, I think, in 1990. And he's fought many battles with the IRS, and he's won every single one, because he knows the rules inside and out, and he understands that individuals earning a paycheck are not required to pay the income tax.
So hold on. So let me rewind this for a second.
In other words, let's go to school for 5 years, become a lawyer.
No, so what you're saying is you do believe in corporate taxes.
This is why this is a difficult. Okay, let me try to give you the shortest answer to that. I do believe the government has the right to tax a corporation, but I don't believe the government has the right to give a corporation the protections that it gives it.
And if they want those protections, then they have to pay their taxes.
If they want those protections, they should do it legally. So here's I'll try to make a short example. I know I give really long answers. Shut me up at any time.
Shark deal.
With a corporation, what's the main point of a corporation? You want to make sure that you're not sued individually for damage that you cause to people, right? So you get your iPhone, you agree to terms and conditions, and in that terms and conditions, assuming Apple is not a corporation, you would say, oh, you agree not to sue us above and beyond this amount, or you agree to only sue the company bank account and not any individual at Apple. Now Apple is protected the same way as a corporation, but they did it by contract. Now, here's the difference. Let's say you have a piece of land and your next door neighbor is, let's say he's drilling for oil and he spills oil onto your land and he has a corporation. So the corporation prevents you from suing your neighbor over totally messing up your land. That's not a legitimate thing because you have no contract with them. But that protection is only available there because the government gave him a corporation. If there was no corporation, like the Apple scenario, if he did that to you, you would be able to sue him for whatever damage he caused to you. And that's not a legitimate protection because basically what the government is doing is they're empowering your next door neighbor to totally pollute and destroy your land and face absolutely no repercussions.
I see what you're saying. I mean, but it was all over the headlines, and you probably read into this more than I did, but they're talking about Amazon, one of the monster companies in the United States, and they wrote off everything, and their tax bill was like relatively nothing.
Right. Yeah, and that's how most corporations operate. And if you think about it, like, if anybody should be paying a tax, it should be Amazon. But the reality is we should have a way that, somebody can form a corporation without needing a government. So that they're protected from personal liability. And if somebody at the company does something illegal, they should be held personally responsible and not fine the company, fine the individual. Because you think about laws and penalties, and these penalties are supposed to deter people from doing, bad things. But then when you say, okay, but here's a corporation, and if this corporation is, doing something really bad, then the company itself is going to pay for it. The employees are going to be fine, because it was all part of this thing everyone was in on. Then it's like you kind of got rid of the whole point of having laws in the first place.
Okay, let's say the election happens tomorrow and you get elected, and it's Daniel Berman, and he's the new president of the United States.
Mr. President, welcome to the show.
Yeah, I'll play along with that. What do you do as president? What are some of the first things that you do?
So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to stop taxing people through the IRS. We're going to shut down the ATF and the DEA. We're going to let all 9 non-violent drug offenders out of prison, and we're going to expunge all their records because that's one of the big consequences of a drug charge is that you have to answer yes. Have you ever been arrested? You have felonies on your record. Get rid of all that so people can actually get back out into society as a normal person without the stigma. And the Department of Education, which is, again, that's one of the ones people think, oh, you want to shut down all the schools. No, the Federal Department of Education takes money from the states, returns 10 cents on every dollar. It's sucking money out of the system, and it's forcing all schools to be the same. It's garbage. That's something we can get rid of, and the states can still operate their schools for now. So I think that's day one.
Well, I want to go back to the drug offender part just a little bit. What about the guys who are like selling like thousands and thousands of kilos of heroin every year, and he get popped and he's doing 1,000 years? Like when you're talking about low level drug offenders, right? Are you talking about just the users? Are you talking about the guys who were selling it? Or
if you got caught with 1 million pounds of it, what does that matter? I mean, if you didn't kill anybody trying to sell it, what does that really matter?
Yeah, but it's going to kill somebody. It's killing
eventually,
somebody.
Yeah,
killing somebody.
100,000 poppy plants is eventually going to make its way into 2 kilos of dope, which is going to. Where's the line?
I know, and you're saying like, where's the line? Where's the line? It's like, but it's like people are at their own discretion. If they want to buy drugs and take it till they overdose, that's on them, man.
Well, see, once again, that's a use versus a sale thing. So the people who are actually using the drugs, maybe you get caught in your system. Maybe you got an 8-ball in your pocket when you get pulled over from the cops for making an illegal U-turn or some shit like that. Like, where is the line drawn? Like, there's so many questions when it comes to.
Let's say theoretically the idea of arresting the big drug dealers is so that individuals will not buy the drugs to harm themselves, right?
Or harm other people.
Well, harming other people is a different story.
Yeah, but that's a different story. What they actually do when they're on it is a crime if they're harming other people. But if they're harming themselves, if they're just sitting in their living room doing whatever drugs they want, they're harming nobody but themselves. If that person doesn't have access to buying, let's say, heroin from some drug dealer who's selling it by the kilo, then what are they going to do? They're going to huff paint. They're going to do whatever they want. Like, there's stuff around. There's like taking the drug dealer out of it, which, by the way, there are much more bigger and dangerous drugs that the government is bringing in and getting people hooked on legally. But you know, that's the individual's choice. If they want to do something self-destructive, you know, we can't come along and say, oh, you did something bad, we're going to punish you even worse. It's like, you know, I experimented with a lot of drugs when I was younger. It was a phase. I grew out of it. I don't do them anymore, except for the one that's not really a drug. And it's, you know, and that's it. Like, so if I would have been caught in possession of cocaine like 20 years ago, I don't know what kind of record I have, but that might have ruined my chances at getting a job or, you know, other things. And that would prevent me from being who I am today, successful with the companies I've started, with the jobs I've had and everything else. So it's like, well, so you're saying like they could get over this, but instead you just want to throw them in a prison and destroy their lives. So I guess we're talking back. We ran off topic of the big dealer, but it's the same thing. They're not harming anybody who doesn't want to harm themselves.
Okay, so yeah, that's basically what it boils down to, is like the user, the guy who's not harming anyone else.
All right, so taxation is theft. Don't hurt anybody else. I got that, but you know, one of the things about America is we have a pretty strong defense. And without taxes, without that type of income, let's talk about two different things. Local policing and national defense. How do we pay for that?
So national defense, first, we have to cut a lot of it. We're all over the world. I think we have something like 1,000 military bases all over the world. We don't need those. We have military bases all around Iran, and then we're telling them that they're threatening us. That's insane. We need to bring all the troops home, shut down all these foreign military bases. Right now, our military spending is 3 times as much as China. That's absolutely insane. We don't need that much. And it shot up a lot right after 9/11, and Osama bin Laden is dead. So what are we still doing? You know, it's insane. We're the truth, if you want to know the truth, we're trying to steal oil and land and resources from everywhere else in the world who won't sell it to us, or won't sell it to us as cheap as we want. And that's why we send military there, to protect, you know, the corporations that are extracting it. That's the real truth about it. So we're subsidizing corporations again with taxpayer money. So we need to stop that, bring the troops home, downsize the military, and use it only defensively. And right now, there aren't a whole lot of people who are really trying to attack us. Yes, there's a whole terrorist threat in the Middle East, but most of those guys are pissed off because we've been dropping bombs on them for the past, I don't know how many decades. So stop making more terrorists, stop dropping bombs on them, and hopefully a few generations from now, they won't be so pissed anymore.
I'm kind of a firm believer of the offensive aspect of it. And only because I'm a neighborhood dude. You know, I grew up around the way. It was never like, you know, really a question of if you felt threatened and somebody was in your space uncomfortably, then I'd rather attack first and deal with the complications later.
We're policing.
If somebody's yelling at you, I'm going to punch you in the face, and they're like all the way down at the end of the block. Are you going to run over to him and punch him in the face? Or are you just going to say, that guy's just talking shit. He can't even come to my face and say it.
Okay.
Which a lot of that, you know,
that's fair.
No debate there.
A lot of the jarring that goes back and forth between the country, it's just that. It's, you know, who's got the bigger stick?
Only when they're in my face, though. So you're right about the person. Like, if they came to me and there was a problem, then...
Like, a lot of these bullshit disputes that we have between countries, if we opened up trade and started trading with people... Because here's the thing, right? I don't want to go to war with North Korea. I'm sure none of you do. But our leaders want to, or with Iran. And most of the people in North Korea, they don't want to go to war with us. Maybe some of them because they're believing the propaganda. But most people in China don't want to go to war with us. They want to trade. They want to sell us stuff and make money from it. And if we stop, putting all these taxes on trade, and we allow free trade, then the people are happier and the governments are smaller, and there are no leaders to say, hey, we're going to drop a bomb on somebody, because like nobody in that country wants their leaders to do that. So once we start to allow other countries to develop and engage in free trade with us, and all of their quality of lives improve, and there's nobody for like them to point a finger at and say, your lives suck because of the United States of America, which is exactly what, you know, we're doing here. Like the Republicans and the Democrats, your life sucks because of the other party. As if there's nobody to point the finger at because everybody's happy, then there's going to be a lot fewer reasons to even start a war, and not so many leaders who have an excuse to start one.
Problem is, wars make money.
Yeah. So, but if we stop giving them money to make money with, then that's part of it. And if we all kind of wake up to it and say, no, we don't want a war because we know it's all about money, then, same thing.
Okay. All right. So I'm getting what you're laying down. So how do we help you to become president of the United? Now, are you going to wear that hat? If you were actually elected, would you wear that hat? The Taxation Is Theft. I mean, I'd be down for that. Looks like Mad Hatter at a rave.
Yeah, I don't know if I could play golf with it on. I hear that's part of the job requirement. There's actually a big debate going on whether or not anyone would vote for me with the hat on. And every time I do a poll, the hat actually wins. Although now they're telling me I got to grow out a beard, and now it's beard versus hat versus nothing at all. Or beard and no hat, beard and hat. It's crazy.
Go full Abe Lincoln. Do it. Go full
Abe Lincoln, and we're down for that. But let me ask you that question right now. Like Donald Trump, just give me some of your thoughts about Donald Trump, our current president.
Here we go.
So, he's done some good things. He's done some bad things. I think anything that he's done that's good for anybody other than him is purely by coincidence. And I don't want to talk shit about him because that's the best way to lose all of his support. And I don't know if that's admitting to pandering, but the reality is if we stop looking at all the bad things he did and look at the good things he did and then say, yeah, these are the things that he did wrong should be done differently without just attacking him with all of the reasons that we could. That's kind of a more proactive approach, because if all we're doing is talking shit about him, we're no better than the Democrats, who are already doing a wonderful job of that. And of course, he's doing a wonderful job throwing it right back at him. But I'm really not that type of person. I don't like to start fights with people. And that's what's really interesting about the Libertarian. If you've watched any of our debates, you'll have 5 of us on stage, and we'll all be like, oh, I didn't know that. We're learning from each other while we're having a debate. And then we're all like, yeah, that's actually really great. You're good. Yeah. Congratulations. We shake everybody's hand. Meanwhile, you look at the Republicans and the Democrats, and they're like, he wants this, and he's got a criminal history, and he's, all this throwing shit that has absolutely nothing to do with the issues. I think that's the type of leadership that the country really needs, is somebody who's mature enough to not, sit around and pick fights like they're in 5th grade.
So no more mudslinging.
Right.
Dude, that's
except
politics.
For
that's never going to go away.
Another Woodstock.
All right, so Dan, so what are some of your plugs? I believe it's Berman2020.com. That's your main website, and then you've got yes. Go ahead. What is your social media, et cetera, that you can plug away?
So, if you go to Berman2020.com, you'll see everything. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. You go there. It's there's an opt-in form if you want to join the team. If you want to volunteer, there's a donate button. You can donate, which if you want to help fund the billboard, if you want to help fund everything else we're doing, we're really doing a lot with online digital ads. We're reaching hundreds of thousands of people every week, and the more money we have, the more people we can reach. So if you like the message, go there and donate and help us get this message out to more people. And if you like pineapple pizza, go check out legalizepineapplepizza.org.
Negative.
I like it. So I'm good.
Awful.
Now let me because he just gave his closing statement, and I ushered in the closing statement pretty much. But then I want to rewind one more time. The hot debate that's going around everywhere right now is gun control. That's what's on everybody's lips. We've got President Trump leaning to more gun control. We've got everything going on. What do you think it would take to stop? And when I say what do you think it would take to stop like these mass shootings, these assholes going into Walmarts to garlic festivals, et cetera, and shooting up a bunch of people, as bad as it is, I don't think that's our number one concern in the United States. But it's so graphic, it's so in your face that it gets everybody's attention. But right. How do we stop that?
So first we need to understand, I like to attack big problems before I go after the little problems, because we want to save more lives, not worry about a couple. Not to say that those lives are insignificant, because any life that's lost is obviously a tragedy, but
in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
That's the big thing. We're afraid, and they're selling fear. And of course, fear makes us want to give up our guns. But here's the thing. It doesn't make you any more safer. You are 20 times more likely to be killed by a police officer than in a mass shooting. And you are 2,000 times more likely to kill yourself. So these are the statistics that are out there. Now, here's the thing I like to tell Democrats who want to ban guns is I get it. You're afraid because guns can be scary, especially if you, like me, grew up in a city that was very anti-gun and had a lot of anti-gun propaganda, and that was the belief that everybody had. But we are actually more safe when everybody does carry and is trained and gets experience. Look at Texas, who has much lower crime rates than Detroit and Chicago. And by the way, if you take Detroit and Chicago out of the equation, United States is like at the bottom of the list of gun violence. But if you put them back in, we're like number 5.
Detroit and Chicago.
Yeah.
And I know Chicago has extremely strict gun regulation. What about Detroit? I'm not too familiar with them.
Yes, it's pretty much the same. And Democrat California, Washington, D.C., all these cities, there's a few different cities. You can look up that statistic to verify it, but it's more than just those 2 cities. But you take out these really gun control violent cities and we drop to the bottom of that list. So here's the thing. Like, I get it. Everybody wants to be safe, and that's not a bad thing to want to be safe. And that's kind of where we have that common ground. I don't think anybody would disagree with that. But we have to understand that banning guns is actually going to make us less safe. And, if you do shoot guns and you know somebody who doesn't, invite them out to shoot, teach them how to use a gun, teach them how to handle it, let them see it, and don't force it on them, but teach them not to be afraid of it, and that it can be a weapon of protection and safety in the right hands.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we've been talking with Daniel Berman. It's Berman2020.com. That's on all of his all your social media is exactly the same. Berman 2020, Twitter, Facebook, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yep.
And
it's all on there. So.
And Daniel is running for the presidential candidate. Now, do you have a? I know the Libertarian the Libertarians do it a little bit different, where the vice president runs on his own and the presidential candidate runs on his own. And so, is there any running mate that you have in your sights?
I not specifically for vice president, but I will say this: most of the candidates who are running against me, I would be happy if one of them took the VP spot, and I would already have a space for them in my cabinet. And there are some other people that I would pick, like Judge Napolitano, if I had an opportunity to fill the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
Joe Bannister, who I talked about earlier with the IRS, I'd put him in charge of the IRS. Dr. Mary Ruwert, who's a doctor who knows, I'd put her in charge of the FDA. She knows the ins and outs of all of these laws and regulations that are preventing access. So I have a lot of people that I would like to invite. Some of them have said yes. Some of them are like, well, let's see if you win first. But that's the thing. Like, I really don't see my opponents for the primary nomination as competition. I see them as really great friends, and I'd like to see that if I get the nomination and if I win the election, that they would all come with me to help me figure out this big organization of government and what to do with it.
Yeah, it's pretty good on the checks and balances end of it too.
Yeah, and don't you think that the Libertarian Party as a whole, it all starts on the local government level, and getting libertarian candidates involved in the local government and working the way up from there, which I'm sure everybody's trying. I mean, it's a battle. Yeah. I mean, we've got a 2-party system in place, and it's hard to get some actual real logic in there. And I for one subscribe more so to the libertarian philosophy than any other political party. But it's one of those things where, as a voter, it's like it does make it tough. It does make it tough. When I'm saying it makes it tough as, last election we had Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I wasn't a huge Donald Trump fan, but I definitely was not a Hillary Clinton fan. And it was a vote against Hillary voting for Donald Trump. You know what I mean? And this whole third party thing, it makes it. It makes it difficult, and it seems like this Libertarian Party, and you guys have been around. The Libertarian Party was established back in the early 70s, something like 1970, yep. Something like that. But I would love to see more of a first of all, the platform getting more public and more people becoming aware of what the Libertarian Party is, and starting on that ground level, city council and all that kind of stuff, and working our way up from there, and just moving ahead. Because we do have it cut out for us. And, I wish there was a libertarian president. I think it'd shake things up. The reality of that, I'm not too sure, but I'll tell you what, I'm definitely grateful for you coming on the show tonight and just explaining to people, explaining to us and just, putting that libertarian philosophy out there for people to think about, that there's something else. Because I am 100% assured that the Democratic Party and the Republican Party, these professional politicians, are fucking us over left and right. Both sides of the aisle.
Of course.
And it doesn't stop.
Absolutely.
And so I am definitely looking for something better. Steph, we need to run for office.
We would get like 2 votes, just you and I.
I could be a charismatic motherfucker, man. Get me in front of some people. I will be charismatic as fuck.
Think so?
If you guys want to run, I'll show you how it's done.
I'd be your vice president.
Yeah, there we go. We'll be Jake and the Fat Man, like an old TV show.
Or maybe I should be president and you should be vice president.
Yes, massa, I could do that too.
Awesome. Now we're really making it somewhere.
All right, Daniel. Thanks for coming on. And once again, that's
Thanks for having me.
That's Berman2020.com or Berman2020 on all of the social media. Go check him out. Read. He's got a lot of good stuff on his website. You can get into all of his stance on everything specific. It's all typed out. You can see it all there. And that was Daniel Berman.
Out. Contact.
Daniel Berman from Cancun, Mexico. That's running for president of the United States. All right. Thanks, Dan. It was nice to have you on. We'll have you on again. Have a good night. Okay. All right. Well, sweet.
That's cool. Very interesting. Yeah.
I mean, okay. We've kind of delved into this Libertarian Party for a couple of weeks. Mm-hmm, yes. I hate doing political shows, but we keep doing them.
So do I. But like the last 2 weeks, I maybe it just has a lot to do with our guests. Actually, probably 95% of it, because I love you guys. You're my family. But listening to the people and their ideas on how we can make change, I think, fuck, man, it makes sense.
It sounds good.
Even if I don't disagree with 100% of it, the majority of it makes sense.
We're never going to 100% agree on anything.
No.
Anyone.
I just know it's completely fucked up the way that we sit right now.
But the problem is we're never going to get there.
Not in our lifetime.
No, it won't be in our lifetime where we break off.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm going to live forever.
So how do this is the thing then?
They may develop some shit where we get to live forever.
How do we as individuals make a difference? Because I think a lot of people feel the same way. I'm just one person. You know what I mean? I want to be happy. I want to live my life. I want my family to not be hungry, and I don't want anybody to be homeless. And I want my dog, because everybody loves their dog. How do you, as an individual, make a difference when it's so difficult to make a change, in this country? So many people are so set in their ways. What do you do? How can you accomplish that?
Well, I think as we go generationally, as we get away from the older school generation, and we get into that new mind, that new methodology of thinking, I think some of that, the bad goes away. But the problem is a lot of that stuff is people are predisposed to, racism. If you grew up in the South and that's the way you're taught, you're probably going to be that way forever.
It's not a predisposition, though. No, because that's not true. There have been many people. No,
I'm not saying you can't break away from it.
There are people who do break away from it.
I'm not saying there's people, but a lot of people don't. Because if they're raised in it, that's all they know.
I think what it really balances is the difference between good people and bad people.
Yeah.
Because some people, no matter how many bad things have happened throughout their lifetime, they're still generally good people. They don't wish death on anybody or any kind of harmful stuff unless, you say bad stuff about people on Facebook.
And Jason in the comments, he says, be involved in your neighborhood, talk with people, and vote your heart, not your party.
See, that's what we discussed last week about the people aspect of it, less the government parties.
And I think there's a lot of people out here that believe in the kind of the libertarian philosophy, which is a lot of it boils down to be a constitutional philosophy.
It just makes sense. More power to the people, less power to the government.
And we need more people running in their local government.
Once again.
But now let me ask you,
I don't think I could qualify, but I can try.
But do you think that the vote really matters? Do you think that we're really controlling, at the end of the day, the people?
That's my problem. Personally, I don't feel that we do.
I think on the local scale we could.
I think on the local scale of your area, I believe so.
Even then
it's questionable. But for the president, do you really think that the vote matters at the end of the day. That we're actually picking the president.
No, not even
that's
a little bit.
that's a whole conspiracy angle right there.
No, not conspiracy at all. The money matters.
And I know the electoral
matters,
vote,
not the people.
vote plays into it based on the states and the swing states and all that. But at the end of the day, I don't think that I don't know that we're really picking.
It's the money. Whoever can donate the most money to the best quote unquote party, that's who's going to.
And I do believe with like Trump and Clinton, it was just the lesser of two evils. That's really what it came down to. I think maybe if it was a different party in the other seat,
you're not really winning on either side with that.
Do you think, Tom?
Trump
do you think I saw this news article the other day, and it was talking about Trump specifically. And it said, like, in the last 90 days, he's been caught in, like, 1,050 lies.
I believe it.
I believe it, too.
I believe it.
I mean, how the guy became president, I honestly...
He loves to hear himself. No, I understand why. I get it. I come 100%. I understand why he won the program.
How?
People are so tired of fucking politics. So you got this guy who comes in out of left field
Just
and tells you whatever you want to hear. Yeah, he's been obviously a multimillionaire, billionaire, however much money he's making. He's been doing it for a very long time. And everybody's been saying, well, the government sucks, government sucks, government sucks. Let's bring in somebody who can maybe shake it up a little bit and change it because they're not a politician. They're I hate to say average or everyday, but they're not raised to be a politician. You know what I mean? He was a businessman who made a whole lot of money and fucked a lot of people.
And he was well known.
And I think that was enough. I think between what she said and what I said, I think that was 100% enough. So I understand why he became president. Like, it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
I don't know who this Max Abramson is that's listening, but he's all my stuffy suit wearing videos about how we can actually win, get 100 to 200 views. The guys with the funny hats get 10 times as many views and lots of free media. Well, I'll tell you what, Max Abramson. Max, I don't know exactly who Max is, but
I think he was here for Daniel.
Well, I'm sure he was, but if he's still listening, I'll tell you what, Max, I got to get to another guy first, but I was going to say, call in 260-54 radio. That's it, right? That's our number?
Leave a message.
Yes.
Max, leave us a message. How can we change it? Give us your input on how we can change the problems that we have going on in this country.
260-547-2346. Hold on. I'm going to see if I can actually call Max. If I click on his name... see my phone? I can't do that. Max Abramson.
He said he said in the thing, I'm one of the presidential candidates.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
he is. Max, call us right now at 260-547-2346. And believe me, just talk to us real quick right now, and then we'll set you up on a full segment. But 260-547-2346. And I got Chris Machado on the line talking about nerd news.
Is it time for our nerd news?
Hold on.
Time for some
Chris,
nerd
are you there?
news.
Yeah, I'm here, man. The politics, man. Holy shit.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
And I was tuning into your show the other day, and you were saying that you were on Radio Underland, and we are an adult show. I guess that's fair enough.
I think adult is the wrong word.
Well, I've actually had people reach out to me.
Hold on, Machado. I got a presidential candidate on the line. I got to take this call. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Dude, he's calling from my hood. He's calling from New Hampshire.
Hi, this is Jake, Radio Underland. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Max.
So, Max, you're running on the Libertarian ticket too?
Yep, I'm running with Dan. I was just in a debate with him about a month ago.
Okay. Well, what did you think about everything that Dan had to say tonight?
Well, I'm a state legislator, and I have to admit that everything he said is 100% true. Politics really is just about money, and you have a lot of big, powerful political constituencies squeezing money out of the taxpayers.
Wait a minute. So you're a state legislator. What is your position right now?
As a state representative?
Oh, a state representative for the Libertarian Party.
And I serve in my state legislature. I'm the only state legislator in the country who's a Libertarian.
Oh, wow.
And you live in a state that has a very low tax rate.
We have the second lowest tax rates in the country, state and local. Dan lives in Texas that has the lowest overall tax rate.
Because New Hampshire has no state tax, correct?
Right. We have no sales tax or state income tax.
I'm from Boston, so you're in the area where I know.
Well, Max,
why don't you move up to New Hampshire?
I know, right?
Well, he's from Boston,
I'm
but
from Boston,
he lives in Southern California
I live in Southern California now.
So, Max.
Oh, my God.
Yes.
So, Max, you've actually made it up the ranks pretty high as a libertarian. I mean, what did you do to actually get the votes to get to where you're at now?
I ran for budget committee and be elected to that. That's nonpartisan. I ran for planning board and got reelected to that. That's also nonpartisan. All my friends, especially the libertarians I knew, just said, just run as a Republican. So I got elected and reelected to state house by running as a Republican. But I told everybody that I was a libertarian, and they know me up in the state house as the Libertarian.
Wow.
Okay. And so, I mean, what is your platform? I mean, how are you about the whole taxation issue like Dan was just talking about?
Well, when you run on, when you're just running for a legislature, it's just very simple. It's get everything down to the local level. In fact, all my campaign signs, I've got one right here. It just says, a vote for Max is for less taxes. So I just run on pretty much just a straight less government campaign.
Less government campaign.
Sold. If I live in New Hampshire,
yeah.
Less government.
Nice place.
All for it.
New Hampshire's a nice place.
Well, I'll tell you what, Max. I'm going to get a hold of you, and I'm going to use my alias account because I'm getting sued on my other one. And so if you get a message from a guy called Radio Undeslin, that's me. And we'll get you on here in the near future, and we can get into details of what you're actually running on and your kind of, because the Libertarian Party, man, there's so many different kind of nuances to the different candidates and what they actually believe. I mean, it varies quite a bit in the Libertarian Party.
Yeah, when I first got into it back in the 90s, I thought that everyone was going to agree on all the same things, and it turns out that people disagree on everything, just like any other political party.
Now, do you think that's why the Libertarian Party can't gain steam, because they just can't find a common place enough for people to buy into it?
In 2016, we had 28 different legislative races where we won more than 25% of the vote, and almost all of them were starting to use tactical voting. And so when I've all the other first past the post countries that you have to use tactical voting if you're a minor party if you want to get anywhere. In other words, like a safe Republican state, you've got to call the Democrats out to support your candidate to try to cost the Republicans a seat, for example.
Wow.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, Mr. Max Abramson, I'm going to hit you up, and we're going to get you on here for a full segment where you can actually explain everything that's going on, because you're on the East Coast right now, and I'm sure it's very late your time. It's got to be, that's like 3 hours. Yeah. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. But Max, this is Jake, and I'll definitely hit you up, and we'll get you on for a whole segment on your own, and then we'll send you the clips, and you can use that for your publicity, etc. Okay, Max?
Roger that. I'll talk to you then.
Awesome.
Okay. Take it easy, Max. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
We officially have
Well,
14,
we're fancy.
14 viewers right now.
Hey, don't say that out loud.
Wait, no, is that our base core?
I think so. Hold
Probably.
on.
That's
Chris,
and
are you
like
still
9
there?
of them are in this room.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, Chris is still there. Okay. Let's get back
Hello,
to it.
Chris.
Let's get back to Chris Machado. Chris Machado, the host of FOMO Cast. He was on here last week, and he's on here again. And what is going on in the world of nerddom? What are some of the nerd highlights that are going on today?
Well, if you want to stay political, there's a big thing going on with Jason Momoa refusing to film Aquaman 2, as well as he's not going to any more Comic-Cons because of them building a giant telescope in Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay, now,
Wait,
yeah,
what?
I did see the headlines. I did see the headlines, but I didn't get exactly what was going on. So Jason Momoa is refusing to film Aquaman 2 because they're building a telescope in Hawaii?
On native land.
On native land.
Yeah.
It's native lands. Yeah, it's protected lands. They've been protesting every day. I've been seeing something about them being out there, him taking his kids, and I don't think he's left the island in quite some time, just so he can make sure he's there to. Now they're putting up a pretty big fight.
So Jason Momoa is a Hawaiian?
Yes.
Yes.
Now he was married
Partially.
because he was married to the Cosby Show.
Still
is.
Still married.
All
Still
his
married.
kids, Lisa Bonet.
Lisa Bonet. Yeah, he was married to Lisa. He still is married to Lisa
They're
Bonet.
awesome together. If you ever seen the two of them like interact with each other, I mean, of course, behind closed doors could be something completely different, but like The two, it makes sense. They make sense, 100%.
Dude, Lisa Monet, man, what has she got? Like fucking gold between her legs? But she could up. She was with
Lenny Kravitz.
Lenny Kravitz.
Yep.
Has the daughter Zoe Kravitz.
Yeah, and Lenny Kravitz is a guy that's looked at as a fucking hot dude. Not my words, but words of others.
Yeah, he's like 5'3".
He's 5'3".
He's a little guy.
He's small.
He's like
He's a little guy.
5'6".
He's a tiny guy.
He's like
But they get along great. Him and Jason Momoa, they get along
vacation
wonderfully.
together.
Really?
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
As an entire family.
Yeah,
like Zoe and
But
both.
I mean, what is going on with Lisa Monet that she's landing Lenny Kravitz?
She's got that good shit.
And Jason Momoa.
She's really pretty though.
She's gorgeous. She was the hottest one on the Cosby Show.
She's so pretty.
Oh yeah, by
Hotter
far.
than Bill?
Maybe way less drugs.
No, but he is very into that thing over there. He said he's not leaving until they stop doing
Well,
what
the
they're
whole
doing.
thing is like shitty. The same stuff they do over here, because of course Hawaii as a whole, although it's a state now, it was annexed land, like Puerto Rico from years ago. You know what I mean?
I guess the telescope they're building there. He's saying, I read an article about it. He said it's 10 times the size of what it was supposed to be.
It's like big oil coming into Hawaii and taking over. I mean, like places where there's buried ancestors and that kind of thing. Like it's that deep. You know what I mean?
Well, what do you think the studios are going to do if he's not going to leave the island and he's in protest of this? You think they're going to? Well, they can't do the movie without him, right?
Well, they're going to help pay for the problems that the natives are having there, so much that the telescope, whoever's trying to put the telescope together.
Well, how much you know about that, Machado? I
think it's a ploy. I think he knows he can get the studio to make something happen because it's basically like they're saying is that it was never put to a vote. It was never talked about. Because it's in an area that's kind of remote. Like you show them taking pictures there, you wouldn't why would you build something there? It's not anywhere near anything. It's kind of obviously I guess for optimal for a telescope, but I think the Warner Brothers is going to end up paying for it. They're going to do something to make sure it goes away because that was their third good film in a row, and they got to keep riding that wave.
Well, he's big money,
and the Rock's involved in it too.
He's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, the Rock's getting involved now too. He's been over there as well.
Is. Understandably, though.
Yeah, because he's from there. Yeah, that's their land.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting story to keep tabs on. Jason Momoa.
I say we should go to Hawaii and protest.
I'm down.
Hey, Chris, you down to go to Hawaii and do a little protesting? I'll protest.
Listen, I'll jump in front of a tractor if it puts me in Hawaii.
Chris, you ever been to Hawaii?
Never.
You're missing
Beautiful.
out. It's absolutely stunning.
We're supposed to go go next year for a birthday, so hopefully I'll be able to make it.
Just make sure you go to the island of Come On, I Want to Lay Ya.
Now, Chris, you're the host of Come On, I Want to Lay Ya. Yeah,
that was a good one, Tom.
Now,
good
Chris,
one.
That was good.
You're the host of FOMO Cast. Did you get any from coming on the show last week? Did you get any new likes or new subscribers? Is anybody following your page or anything from being on the show last week? Or is
he probably lost viewers.
I've seen an uptick in views, basically. So I know someone's watching it, and it's kind of hit and miss. The YouTube channel, I keep tracking everything, but I'm not big enough to get views from the YouTube channel yet. But we did see an uptick on our SoundCloud, and I tried to promote last week for this week or for however I did it, but. It's a different audience, and we were asking about the adult nature. I've had professionals, because it is on my LinkedIn like an idiot. People who are like CEOs and companies are like, "Is it okay if my kids listen to your podcast?" And I'm like, "I guess." So that's why I make sure if I promote any podcast, because I'm on a network called the Pod Bros Network, and they have podcasts that cuss on there all the time too, so it's just my personal.
Do I really cuss that much?
Yeah,
yes.
We swear a lot.
I'm fucking angry. I'm not fucking angry. I'm not fucking
yelling.
About?
Well, I see people in the comments. When I say people, I'm talking about Jason. Me and Jason went to school together when we were fucking young, but he said that I just cussed, didn't I?
Yep, you sure did.
Yeah, but Jason said he subscribed, so I mean that's one up for you.
Yeah,
so
Chris, And it's fun to do. There's a lot of stuff that happens. I started a new job, so I'm available at nights now, and I'm seeing throughout the day while I'm working, things come in. Like, last week a bunch of stuff happened. Like one day when first you had Danny Trejo saving some lady in a car.
Yeah,
and then
that was crazy.
Yeah,
him looking like a gangster, just standing there in his what he was wearing. I'm like, that's just. how old is he? And he just looks like a young dude just out there just chilling on the streets in L.A. And, then all of a sudden stuff just started rolling in after that.
Yeah, Danny Trejo, man.
It's like 72, 73 or something.
He's one of those actors that I've ran into a lot of people that have ran into Danny Trejo, and they say he's an extremely nice guy.
Straight up and down.
Does he still have that restaurant?
He does. To be in a movie, he'll do it.
He's got a taco
no matter
stand.
What you say, he'll do it.
Danny Trejo will be in any movie. We need to do a movie.
I have had the pleasure of meeting Danny Trejo probably like 6 or 7 times at just random places. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's a super down to earth guy. You know, like super. Like he'll talk to anybody. He doesn't care who you are. Like he's just very like a normal dude. You know, you see him in all these movies, and you know, of course, you're gonna think that he's
like some badass.
Yeah, because he's got a lot of money. You know, maybe he's gonna be like complete separatist and not really want to talk to the fans and shit like that. But no, he will stop and have a conversation with an everyday person.
He's like the Hispanic Keanu Reeves.
He's Danny Trejo. No, I would say the Hispanic Bill Murray.
Okay.
I heard Bill Murray's a dick, though.
No, fuck no.
I've heard he's a dick.
I've heard hit and miss about him, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Jeff, what were you saying back there?
No, but Danny Trejo, I've met him easily like 4 or 5 times in the last 30 years, and each time he's amazing. Just like acts like your family's always like very cordial, and he's a really just amazing and nice guy.
I want to meet him.
Do you hear how much Chris Machado is typing in the background?
He's typing
Chris,
so
you are
mean.
a very angry
He's like
typer.
a mean typer. Like,
yeah, you're an angry typer, dude.
Super special keyboard. Chris,
you got one of those clicky keyboards?
Are you going to LA Comic-Con?
No, I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be spending some time in Minnesota for work, so I'm gonna be hit and miss, going back and forth. So. Plus, I'm remodeling my bar, so it's
I saw
kind
that.
of a process.
We need to go up to Chris's house.
No, speaking of bar, I think there's some things, some tiki items.
Yep.
That you were supposed to tell me about. I think
we need to go up to Chris's house.
We can't just invite ourselves.
Now, Chris, don't give your exact address for legal reasons, but where do you live at? What area?
I live in Northern California by Modesto.
Yeah, so we need to go up to Chris's house, camp out in his backyard, and do a show from where he does his show at his tiki bar in his garage.
I think we should do it in his front yard.
well,
like an underground style show. Like while he's doing FOMOcast.
Listen, as long as we're invited.
We should record him doing FOMOcast from our show.
For the record, that would be the first show that we've ever done in a front yard.
Yes.
Allegedly.
That'll be my first time ever in Northern California.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be my first time to Modesto, that's for sure. Or Folsom or any of those other fucking cities. Fuck.
Allegedly.
Yeah, well, okay.
No, not allegedly. That legit will be the first time ever in those cities.
All right, so Machado, what else do you got for us?
There was a weird one. I think Steph may have seen this one that Nike's doing a monthly plan.
I saw
that.
Wait, what?
They're doing a subscription plan.
But I do have a granddaughter.
This might work for you.
Wait, rewind. A monthly plan for Nike?
$20 a month.
Kids shoes.
$20 a month for like how many? 6 pairs
You get
a year?
two
pairs.
No, 4 pairs. $20 a month you get 4 pairs. $30 a month you get 6. $40 a month you get 8.
8 shoes
and 50
per
you get
year.
12
per year.
And $50 a month you get 12. But $50 a month is that? I mean, that's a lot. But
that's $600.
But if you got a lot of kids,
but it's not all of their shoes. It's specific shoes that they have for the program.
But they did say that there were going to be. I think they said there were going to be like 200 selections. So there'd be a lot of. There'd be a lot of.
That's $600 a year.
Okay.
But now go the other way.
That's
if you go 20. If you go 20, it's like $60 a pair.
No, wait. If it's okay, how many? Wait.
Because $20 a month is $240 for the year.
Yes, makes
you
sense.
get 4 pairs for the year. It's $240.
Okay.
So it's $60 a pair for 4 pairs of shoes.
Sign me up.
Yeah, but
it works great for you.
Sign me up.
What about kids who are not like walking like little babies and stuff like that?
Yeah, Chris,
just buy her shoes.
I don't know what the red tape behind it is.
Did you see how young it goes in that subscription plan?
But when you break it down, some kids, certain ages, they go through shoes like crazy, and rather than trying to, squeak through with them, you can get 3 or 4 pairs in a year that are all different sizes. You can actually plan ahead. So even if you just did it for a year, it might be worth it for someone to save up on the shoes kind of thing.
Did you see anywhere where they said how much it's discounted per shoe?
No, I think they're trying to be vague on it because I have a feeling what they're going to try and do is see how well this works with kids and then try and use it on adults.
Yeah,
Maybe,
they're for sure going to go to an adult one.
Yeah,
I couldn't do it.
Just think
I could 100%.
What if they had a program for
Nikes, no.
Jordans? You can pay so much and guarantee yourself a pair of Jordans.
Because
they
for
would
the
be able
kids,
to freaking mass produce that like crazy.
Yeah, for the kids, it's $50 a month for 12
4
pairs.
No,
50 bucks for 12 pairs a year.
So one pair.
But if they did that, if they did that for adults, $50 a month, and you can get like Jordans and shit.
Oh, they will make money. They'll make money.
happen.
They'll make money hand over fist.
Dude, sign me up for
Because Chris just hit the key. Now you don't have to go wait in line to get a pair of Jordans. You're guaranteed.
That's why it'll never happen.
You're guaranteed.
And
a
if they
certain
start
pair.
releasing exclusive colorways only to the subscribers,
then it would happen.
Then it would happen.
Yep.
And it would
Well,
happen.
if you look at it, for both my boys, each of their shoes were $100 each. So that's just for my two boys. They both got $100 Nikes.
You guys need a different hobby.
Sign me up.
Stop having kids.
I did about 9 years ago.
Yeah, smart man.
See, my problem is that I just love shoes.
Me too.
Love
I just got
them.
you shoes for your birthday that you've never worn.
I wore them already.
Mm.
But I made you park on the cement so I wouldn't have to walk in the dirt.
Nothing wrong with that.
You know, and you get so many tennis shoes.
I love tennis.
You don't play tennis.
No.
And you get running shoes and you don't run.
That's because they're not tennis shoes. They're sneakers.
They're sneakers.
Get it right.
What do you do in your shoes?
I walk.
Do you sneak?
Okay.
I match my outfits.
Sneak hers.
Well,
that
see,
part.
then you got to go to Minnesota. I'm taking an empty suitcase because there's no sales tax on shoes and clothes there. So I'm
you
going to
can
be
do
buying
that.
a lot of. They got the Star Wars collection of Toms there right now, so I'll be buying a couple pairs of
Star
shoes
Wars
to go.
Toms.
Yes,
saw
I
those.
did.
Oh,
I did see those.
I tagged Steph in those.
You
Yeah.
did.
See those.
But then you have to wear Toms.
Yeah.
So? Every time you buy a pair of Toms, it gets another pair of shoes for some kid in
Do you
Africa.
really fucking believe that?
No,
Some
Sure.
kid
I
in
don't believe it
Africa-
at all.
Shit.
I don't believe it at all.
Some kid in Africa needs
I like to believe
Star
it.
Wars Toms.
I like to believe
I got a nerdy thing. Missy, you probably get behind this. The Polaroid 600 is back. The original Polaroid.
The square
the big
black
square.
one?
Like
No.
the original 600. They have the film on Amazon. So get this, they still haven't. And it's like I feel like I'm in 1984 again. It's $18.99 for 8 pictures.
Yep.
And the pictures and it says right on the box. It says pictures may take up to 15 minutes to develop. So it's like the old school
ones.
Where you got
like,
fucking
yep,
Like
the old
shake it
yep.
like this?
There was a Strangers
Sick,
thing.
like
They have like a
Polaroid.
Strangers thing one, and there's
Okay,
but the
can
original
I tell
600
you?
is back.
Can I tell you how expensive that thing's going to be?
$110. The camera itself is $110.
Okay, I want one.
So I think it was $96. No, $196, and you got 12 things of film. But you figure you're only getting 96 photos for $200.
How many stickers do you have on your water bottle there?
I don't know, probably like 30.
Now, has anybody else noticed this whole trend of the hipsters walking around with their water bottles everywhere they go?
I do that everywhere.
I just
I
think
go.
No, you don't.
Is that
Yes, I
a hipster
do.
thing?
It's a.
What is this right here?
That's your tumbler. Okay.
Water.
I take this to work because we don't have like a big water jug at thing. So this is like 40 ounces. So I fill this in the morning, and then we've got like little water bottles that I just dump in there for this empties out.
Okay.
And it keeps
all
it
right.
cold.
Tom's a hipster?
Oh, I'm for sure not a hipster.
So Machado, you got
Except
any
for the
other?
beard, maybe.
You got any other news stories for us?
The big one that came out today was the Marvel is saying that Wolverine's going to be joining the Avengers in the next phase.
Phase 5.
So that
Yeah,
means they're gonna
phase
have to
5.
start casting
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Wait, I thought they were done with that.
Oh no. Oh,
Okay, I'm out of this conversation because I have no clue what's going on.
Wolverine. Now it's a new person.
Yeah, they've basically just pinpointed at Comic-Con.
Who's it going to be?
That's the question: is who is it? Who,
If
you
it's
know,
not
I
Hugh
think it's
Jackman,
gonna
who's
be
it going to
Clint
be?
Eastwood's
Wait,
son.
why wouldn't it be
You
Hugh
think so?
Jackman?
he
Because
could
he
be.
quit. He's done.
He's done. He's too old. He said he's too old for
You
it.
think so?
Oh, yeah.
Eastwood's son.
He's
I
not
think
too
he- I
old.
think
I think
Eastwood's
it's
son
gonna be, I
could
think it's
be.
gonna be Clint Eastwood's son because he's already been. I can't remember. I think he was in one of the Expendables. I think, and he has that vibe. And I've seen people do the mock-ups with him in it. And
I could get behind
I
that.
think he's the perfect character for it.
Nate, can you post that? Can we find a picture of Clint Eastwood's son and post him up there so I can see exactly? Like I remember, but I don't remember.
I think I could get behind him being
What's his name? Scott Eastwood.
Scott Eastwood. Yeah. He's in the Fast and the Furious movies. He's in a couple of them.
He got famous for some cowboy movie. I can't remember what it was, where he was a bull rider and he kept getting hurt.
Last Ride.
Yep.
Yep.
Which, of course, I didn't see.
It was good. It was really good.
Last Ride?
No, Marvel is basically laid out movies for the next probably 5 years.
It's like a chick flick.
That's probably why I haven't seen it. Is it like Brokeback Mountain Gay, or is it?
All right. So we've been talking with Chris Machado. Chris is the host of FOMOcast. You can subscribe to that on iTunes Podcast, Spotify, anything.
Not to be confused with No Homo Cast.
It's the No FOMO Cast, which is FOMO, the fear of missing out. And that's Chris, a good friend of the show, and that's his show. You can definitely subscribe to it. They've got a YouTube channel. They've got the whole 9 yards. Follow their group on Facebook. And Chris is on the cutting edge of entertainment nerd news.
Agreed.
I'm with you, Chris.
I watch his I pay attention to his page because that's how I get my information about nerd news.
Nerd news, yeah. Machado, you're the king of the nerd news.
Oh, thank you. I try hard.
I'm in there with you, Chris.
I don't know. I'm not the king of anything.
All the shit that he's discussed today, I got from his page. So
yeah. All right, Chris Machado. Once again, that's FOMOcast.
Can we take a 2-minute union break?
Why?
I gotta make a pee-pee.
You gotta make a pee. We're getting ready to get to Tom's news right now.
Can I make a pee-pee first?
You better watch out with that union word. Did you hear what happened with that?
No.
So, do you know the Ringer Network for podcasts?
No. Which network?
The Ringer Network. It's Bill Simmons, the sports guy.
Yes.
They're all their writers and everyone are unionizing. So now Barstool Sports has put out a thing saying the head guy said, if you guys think about unionizing, you guys can go fuck yourself. So
he's crazy. Well, he's crazy anyways.
Like
the lead guy from I can't think of his name. Dave
Portnoy. Dave Portnoy.
He's funny. He's funny as shit, but he's off his shit.
Well, yeah. I'll tell you what. Oh, thank you very much, Chris. Once again, that's FOMOcast. You can find him on any podcasting network, YouTube, FOMOcast, and that's Chris Machado, the host, which is a good alleged acquaintance of ours.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, Chris, you have a good night.
Alrighty.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for coming on.
Can we take a pee break?
Yeah, Tom, go take a pee break.
Okay.
We're going to sit here. I mean, I don't know if we're
sure
going
that the peach vodka.
Is that what he was drinking? Was he drinking tonight? He was drinking peach vodka?
Yeah.
Well,
and then I thought I was getting the same drink as him, but apparently I need a bunch of vitamin C.
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
I got vodka with orange juice.
Yeah, screwdriver.
So, Steph, Epstein.
Clinton?
Yeah, Epstein.
Clinton.
Okay, synonymous, I guess.
Absolutely.
Do you think that Epstein was it an actual suicide or was it a murder?
An assisted suicide.
Come on, assisted. So basically,
Dr. Kevorkian
exactly showed up. Dr. Kevorkian showed up and really ended this shit. No, dude, come on, man. If this doesn't scream cover up from the highest levels, I don't even know what to say.
He was under suicide watch.
No, he was out of suicide watch. He was done with that.
Yeah, he was under suicide watch.
He was previously, yes.
As soon as he take him out, his guard falls asleep and he commits suicide.
Okay, now here's the thing that has me questioning everything about this. A guy in his position,
he knew Donald Trump?
Well, a guy in his position. Okay, so he's got dirt on a bunch of powerful people across the whole United States, okay? He has two options. He's not going to trial. He's not going to testify.
He's going to snitch.
He has two options. Either he gets killed before he testifies, or he commits suicide.
That wasn't an option for him. He didn't choose that. No, there wasn't a choice. He got suicided. Suicided, yeah. That's
Murdered
when somebody
by
else kills you and pretends that it's a suicide.
But he could have committed suicide himself.
No way in the world.
You don't think so?
Zero chance.
And they said they had taken him off. They said they had cleared
taken him off of suicide watch.
Suicide watch and cleared him that quick. Come on.
Well,
you know what suicide watch consists of? Suicide watch means they put you in a little foam room with rubber walls and shit like that, with no blankets, no sheets. practically no clothing, nothing you can choke yourself with or harm yourself with. And that includes bed sheets and metal surroundings, corners and edges and stuff like that. They completely separate you from everyone else because they don't want anything to happen to you. Obviously, you're either going to kill yourself by killing yourself
or hurt somebody else,
which then causes you to be murdered and turns into a whole new thing. That's suicide watch.
I think the biggest red flag that I saw in all of this.
The Clintons? I should probably stop saying that before I get suicided by tomorrow.
Yeah. I didn't know you were contemplating suicide stuff the way you're talking
I'm
over
not,
there.
But tomorrow, apparently, it might happen.
But I think the biggest red flag was the fact that you have a prisoner, right? A prisoner that has information. A prisoner that has information on some of the most powerful people in the country.
Suicide watch does include being watched by camera, by the way.
And he has already attempted suicide himself, allegedly.
I think Chris brought up a good point. He said the amount of threats he received, they should have had him on suicide watch 24/7.
And this is the thing that makes me think that there's something fishy going on.
What if I told you that suicide watch involved an officer sitting inside of a room watching a camera with people who are who could be a harm to themselves?
Yes, and why I say that this is fishy is because they've already stated, first off, that the camera outside of his cell and the camera inside his cell was not working that night. Now,
both
when you
at the same time,
both at the same time,
inside of a prison,
and when you have one of the most high-profile prisoners that you've ever had under your watch, Steph, if me and you are running the prison and we've got Epstein there, and they tell us the camera's not working, it's like, well, get that fucker fixed, like, immediately.
Well, this would be the first problem. If you or I together ran a prison, it would be a 50-50 time frame. You would be in there for 12 hours, and I would be in there for 12 hours.
While you're watching Epstein, yeah.
Yeah.
That is a high-profile, like, we can't let this motherfucker kill himself.
Yes.
And we can't let somebody kill him.
He's got a lot of information.
But somehow, oops, the cameras aren't working, and he committed suicide.
Yeah, suicide.
It's horseshit, right?
Agreed, 100%.
And I think the whole country believes that.
Oh, I don't think there's anybody that thinks that he killed himself.
Because it's the truth.
But there is there's a conspiracy theory going around about that.
What is it?
That he's actually on a plane going somewhere, or he's probably there now, and he's getting plastic surgery. What's the let me find the...
Oh, that was a tweet made by Foster the People.
Foster the People.
You know what? And Foster the People is a band. And I'll tell you what, I kind of believe that that's probably what's going on.
That he's on his way somewhere. He's getting plastic surgery.
Did you guys see the pictures of the guy that they're rolling out on the gurney?
Who's paying for it?
He
it's
is.
So much easier. What? They already got his money.
But did you see the picture of the guy that they're rolling out with the gurney with the fucking big nose that was hooked and shit?
How much easier to just pay 10 grand to some dude who'll put a bullet in his fucking head? Or, fall asleep while he was watching a video in prison of some dude who was in the fucking cell? Why? Why would you allow this dude to run off and even 20 years from now?
And the other
possibility that something
the other
would
fucked
happen.
up thing is that the FBI or CIA or whatever, they started raiding his island yesterday.
Yeah, they want the money.
Yeah, but
They're looking for the money.
Why
They're
would you
looking
leave
for the
like
leftover
why
shit.
would you leave like 2 weeks where nobody's raiding the island where they can clean all the shit out?
Does it not make sense to you? Am I the only one who's fucking paying attention here? They waited so they could make sure they have all the information that they need to get the money, to make sure that he didn't have like some weird disc that's fucking settled somewhere to, tell people, the whole rest of the world, about all the horrible shit that they were fucking doing on Pedo Island, is what they called it. Pedophile fucking island. Come on, man. It's all a ruse. He's not going anywhere.
I think it is too.
He's fucking dead.
It is too. I think he had information on powerful people. You think he's dead? And he had information
Guaranteed.
He had way too much dirt on
He had
people.
way too much dirt. And he was not going to testify. There was no fucking way. He was not going to open his mouth. He was going to be dead before he did
Look
that.
at the people he hung out with. Look at the high profile.
One of the people is our current president.
Yes.
Yeah, but our current president fucking found out some shit about him and banned him from Mar-a-Lago, which Trump owns, a while back.
Before he was president.
Before he was president.
But now he's president.
Now he's president.
And the shit
Well, see,
that
the thing
he's
is-
involved with.
Shit.
Oh,
As
for those of you that are
Bubba,
listening to
little
the
Bubba.
audio, somebody just put up on the screen. It says, "Welcome to Fantasy Island." And if for of those of you that are too young to understand Fantasy Island, but it's basically a picture of Epstein as the tall guy and Bill Clinton as Tattoo, the little guy.
The plane.
As Little Bubba.
As Little Bubba.
Little Bubba. Okay. Yeah, man. I don't think. There's definitely something fishy going on here. 100%.
And the reality is they're never going to get to the. And they did. Did you see they temporarily reassigned the warden of that prison? He's been reassigned to a new prison.
Yeah, in the comments I see that Mr.
You mean he
Machado.
got paid?
Well, I'm sure he got. It's like, look, it's just a technicality. We got to move you to a new prison for a while.
Guarantee you, in like 2 years, he'll end up dead somewhere.
Probably.
Yeah, because he's got the info. He knows what happened. If anybody knows what happened, he knows what happened. 6
Steph,
months? We call it
Steph,
6 months.
There's this mom going around on Tinder, labeling herself as like a. Well, no, she's not labeling herself, but people are labeling her as a superhero mom. What she's doing, and Nate, I don't know if you have any of these pictures of the screenshots of the conversations, but they're in there. Basically, Erin, I'm not going to give her last name, but Erin, who's 34, says she has been cheated on several times over the years. So, she wanted to stop other women staying in the dark while their partners arrange hookups online.
So she's snitching.
Yeah. So, in a bid to protect other women from wasting their time with awful people, she went full detective and decided to use her skills she'd learned in her career as a data miner to track down men and their partners and moms and expose them on Tinder.
So she's basically taking like married dudes?
So what she did, she successfully outed 5 men so far, and unsurprisingly, each woman has been thankful, although obviously upset. Erin's even received dick pics and reported them back to their partners.
So basically she has a fake profile.
Yep.
And talking to dudes that she thinks is married.
During one chat, Erin received X-rated pictures and videos. And when she exposed him to his girlfriend, both women plotted how to get more evidence from the shameless sleaze.
Okay. My question is,
How is she finding out that they're married?
even beyond that,
I don't know, but she does.
How many dicks is she keeping versus the ones she's telling the truth about?
Nate, do you have that one picture that I put up in Trello with the text message going back between her and one of the wives? It's in Trello.
It's in Trello. It's in the comments.
What's the balance? So is it like only the dudes who have like trash dick are
Well, the
being
picture
notified?
that she got looks like it's blurred out pretty. It's like ready for porn.
And she received it like in her email type thing?
I don't know, but she's going around and she is outing these guys on Tinder. It's married guys that are going on Tinder and acting as, I guess, single, but she finds out they're married. Well, she's a data miner, so, she can figure that shit out, I guess.
Yeah.
What the fuck is a data miner?
No idea.
Well, is this girl a hero or a bitch?
Guess it depends.
Depends on who you're asking.
Like, who's the asshole? Yeah.
Like, this is like, who's the asshole?
She's a hero.
Is she
She's a hero?
She's doing. I mean, she's theoretically
I
she's
guess
doing
it
the right
depends on
thing.
who you ask.
Well, if you ask the male, he's going to be like, no, she's a fucking cunt.
Is she a
or
hero to
bitch
the
or
cheating
something.
husband or just to the wife who's being cheated on?
All right, do any of you guys ever buy anything off Wish?
Yes.
They got some
You
weird
do.
shit on there,
I do.
man.
I do. I'm not going to lie.
Well, our friend Nate has brought to my attention like the shit that Wish puts up on his timeline saying, "Oh, you need to buy this."
Oh, yeah.
What?
Okay.
What?
So,
What in the
Wait,
fuck
Wish
is
put that on your
that?
timeline?
Nate, turn on your microphone because this showed up on your Wish timeline, right?
Is that like a
wanna know
ball? Is that
why.
like support for balls and wiener?
That's the thing. Before
Yep. Yeah.
the people
It
who
is?
have
Well,
no
I don't know
idea-
what it is, but it showed up on my Wish advertising.
Dude,
That's
what are
the
you
thing.
searching for
That
on
part.
your computer?
That part.
Now,
Because
for those of you-
Wish only shows up with the stuff that you search for on a regular basis. It's what usually shows up in your timeline.
So we really need to see. We really need to see Nate's.
Whoa! Oh,
hold on. Go back to that last one. Go back. Oh shit!
You mean the bubblegum yarn underwear?
Yeah.
No,
so
what is that?
It's like ball and shaft support.
Like,
It makes
so
sense.
does that mean your balls are sagging? I don't want to know.
I think
it's got to firm them up.
Well, the penis goes through the first hole.
I know that, but
and
what
then
about the
balls
back
go
ones?
in
Those
the
go. Your
cylinder hole.
legs go through there.
And then the little
Yeah, the
strap
rest of
goes
it
up
goes
your butt.
behind your butthole. And then
What?
Can we just point out that it got a 4-star rating?
So it works.
it did. It
So,
worked.
so it must be,
$2.
so it must be
It
comfortable,
works.
and it's only $2.
And it's $1 to
$2.
ship. It's $1 to ship, so it's actually $3.
You know who I bet
if you spend $5, you can get 8 of them.
Listen, if we bought that, you know who would wear that? Shut up, Sean.
Oh, order it right now.
Oh,
I will give you my credit card information, not over the over
Shut
the
up,
air.
Sean would for
$3.
sure wear
Just
that
hand
shit.
him $3.
Oh, we can have him wear that in his video.
Oh God, no.
See, now you're thinking big. Now you're
do we
thinking
have to
big.
blur out the? Do we have to blur out the testicles or
Well,
just the
no,
shaft?
you'd have to wear a dick sock. No,
dick
but I
sock.
think the testicles are okay as long as they're shaved. I think just the shaft
what the
is
fuck
okay.
is that?
What is that? It's
I
like
think
a
the penis is
Batman
good.
dog mask.
That would scare my animals.
Who is into wearing that?
Apparently
Apparently,
Nate is.
Nate is.
Which makes me look over at his wife and wonder.
But I just love
what
how
kind
it's like, don't worry, you don't have to pick black. We have red, white, or purple.
And look, another 4-star rating. So this is another popular product.
is that 4 out of 4 or 4 out of 5 stars? For $4.
For $4.
So it must be good quality.
You
get
can
a
get
weird-
yourself a scary ass
A weird
dog, mask. What else we got, Nate? Oh,
Wait, what is that? What am I looking at?
For $7, you get a pair of panties and
Oh, no, this,
Are those butt plumpers?
no.
I'm
What-
pretty sure
Nate,
that goes in
what
the
is that?
butthole.
No, I feel like this is a thing that girls stick up their vaginas.
I don't know.
To
What?
stop
Like a
it-
douche?
No, it's
They look like suction cups
the
to
blood,
plump your
like,
ass.
What is it called? The
Nate,
it's
you
called
have no
something.
idea. You have no idea what that is. Cupping,
It's a cup.
cupping.
So it's basically what?
No, not cupping.
No, okay. So
Cupping is like
there's
the
a
Asian
thing that
thing where
looks
they-
like that, and instead of using like a pad or a tampon, you stick this up there.
Oh, and you, like,
and
pull
it
the blood
catch
out.
It. No, it doesn't pull the blood out. It just catches it.
That's a tampon.
It's like the
Reusable plastic tampon.
I think
it's like the new best way.
It's called the cervical cup.
It's something
That's
like
a
that.
cervical cup.
My money
think
is on
that's what
ass
that is.
plumpers.
Oh, God.
I think those are ass plumpers.
I guess it's a cervical cup.
I think they're
That's
ass
for
plumpers. Like,
periods.
do you put it on your
Cervical
ass and
Instead of getting a tampon where the blood absorbs from the tampon.
So does this go inside or outside the vagina?
inside?
So okay, so you squeeze it together. You
But there's
push it
two
up,
of them.
and then
Yeah, and then
well, that's for big pussies and little pussies.
Wrapped around your cervix so that way the blood doesn't.
Oh God!
and then you just
So it
stuff it in the
fills up
toilet.
this. Okay, I get. It fills up the space
Yeah.
in the vagina.
Yeah, and then
absorb.
it doesn't
Okay, so
absorb.
the little plug part means it must go like up your cervix.
No.
Does anybody
No.
use these?
Yeah, everyone uses them.
Here's my thing.
Everyone?
Listen.
I've never tried it because I'm scared that it'll get stuck.
Look, I think there's two of them. I think those are ass plumpers. Nate is trying to plump his ass. He's trying to get a plumpier ass.
So that's a period thing, and that's a cervical cup.
Yes, they.
And it's $7.
I'm Googling that
That's-
shit. I
0
want to see if
stars.
they're
I already
butt
see it in the
plumpers.
comments. People are already saying, "Oh, that's a menstrual cup."
It's
what
a
the fuck
cup.
is that?
It's a menstrual cup.
It's 5
What
stars.
the fuck? This one got
What?
5 stars.
Wow.
Whatever this shit is.
This is Halloween stuff.
That's some, no, that's some
$25.
No, that's some creepy. I'm gonna kill your whole family.
That's like Slipknot.
What are you talking about? That's
Mask.
bedroom
Is that an
stuff
actual
right
mask, or what are we talking about?
That's a mask.
That's bedroom stuff.
That's very creepy.
That's
like
weird.
Slipknot.
That is not Slipknot, first of all.
that
5
just-
stars.
That looks like someone's gonna murder me.
Yep. That's like strangers. What?
What?
What do we got going
What
on
the
here?
fuck is
Yes.
that?
It's 18
Let's see. Those
KRs,
are
whatever that is.
well. It looks like chicken cutlets.
To go back to that picture that you guys were, arguing about, Missy's right. It is a menstrual cup.
Yeah.
It was a menstrual cup.
That's so gross.
But what the fuck is this, Steph? What is that?
I'm trying to read it.
It looks like a fake butt.
It's
Well,
like
I
silicone.
can't see it. It's so blurry.
It's a silicone. It's a false something, and there's
Okay,
two of
there
them.
it's-
And there's a picture that says seamless
Seamless.
It's a fake butt.
stick.
Is it a butt?
No, I think it's a fake vagina.
No,
Oh.
there's no hole. Look. For me,
Well, like the top part. If you want to
There's
make
a
your pussy
hole.
look fatter.
see.
Oh, it's like a cooter plumper.
Right here. Put it right here.
Like right in the top of your butt crack?
Hey, Nate, what is that?
Does it tell us?
I don't know.
Dude, it's seamless. Oh, you're right. It must be the back because.
Nor do I know how it got on.
The picture of her is
I
from the
see.
back side.
I see it. Okay, here I can't zoom in, but here, look, it's two butt cheeks.
Yeah, right. Like right where your butt cheeks meet the crack
Yeah.
portion. Yeah, because it shows her from behind. Like
Yeah, look.
she's kind of got the whole thing going on. From
Okay, so
behind.
it makes your butt a little
Looking behind
round.
her.
It
I
makes your
think
butt a
that
little
part.
rounder at the top.
But it's just like the circle portion of where your butthole, like right above your butthole.
Don in the comments regarding the last one we were talking about, he said he's going to invent a menstrual thermos.
Yeah. Same shit, right? As the cup, just more blood.
All right, what else you got on your wish timeline there, Nate?
Dude, I want to see your search history.
That is a
nipple. Oh, like a dog collar,
a collar
with
and nipple
clamps.
clamps, right? That's what that is, right?
5 stars again.
Makes sense to me.
Miss, would you ever wear nipple clamps?
No.
With a collar.
No.
What about
the collar?
No, I'm not a dog.
So no
But
collar,
you love
no.
dogs.
I love exactly. I would never wear one.
If you were Whitney, Wisconsin, would you wear it?
Oh, that fucking bitch trolled my Instagram.
I knew
Oh,
that
what'd
was
she
coming.
do?
That was so funny.
That fucking bitch.
How does she troll your Instagram?
That bitch found my dog.
No shit.
I was like, that
posted
dog is cute. And I was like, bitch, block.
Hey, you know she'd be the best dog
Fuck.
sitter ever.
No, fuck.
All those
no.
dogs would come home happy.
Happy as fuck.
No.
They'd sleep through the night.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
They'd sleep. They'd
You mean your new dog, Liam, you wouldn't let him go stay with Whitney?
Fuck no. I'd rather have a homeless person watch my
I'm
dog.
still trying to send my dog for the record. Maybe he'll calm the fuck down after hanging out with her for a couple weeks.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
That's
I'm just saying.
disgusting.
For who? My dog or for her?
Poor dog. She's trash.
Yeah, but maybe the dog likes it.
No.
I guess
That's like buying your dog a cheap hooker. At least get him a quality one.
Okay.
Damn. All right.
You know, Whitney, she's out of jail now.
She should go back.
It's apparently she's following Missy.
No, I
No,
blocked
she's trying
her.
to get Missy's
You
dog.
blocked her?
Fuck yes. I don't want to see her on my stuff. It's my
So
stuff.
you would be totally opposed to having her back on the show?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
I think we need to like where is Whitney now?
No, I know where she is. Looking for other people's pictures for their dogs.
Apparently she's in your Instagram.
Nah,
Where
she's
she was
out.
up
She's in
until
your
recently.
Nope,
feeds.
absolutely
I
not.
think we should bring her back.
Sliding in.
No.
I think we should bring her back.
Fuck.
Where
no.
is she now, and what is going on with
Where is
Whitney,
she now?
Wisconsin?
She's trash.
Now, Miss.
What?
Now, Jake.
Am I wrong?
I'll tell you what. I would love to hear her story.
No, I don't want to hear her story. I don't
I
want
would
to hear her
love
talk.
to hear the story about her being arrested and all that
No.
kind of other shit. And
She got arrested.
It would
She
be,
was put in a cop car.
This is the thing, it would be
she
like-
was in a jail cell for some months. Story ended.
It would be like
The
a
end.
VH1 special.
No.
where are they now?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
exactly.
No. Absolutely not.
I don't think I've seen. Has anybody seen like any interviews with her since she came home from jail?
I haven't.
I don't think so.
I
So
haven't.
it'd be
You know what?
So we
No.
get the exclusive.
exclusive.
She can exclude her way out of here.
Now, Jake and Missy, I know you guys are not video game
Sure.
people.
No,
Steph,
I'm not.
you're a video game guy.
Yes, I am.
Proudly. Boys across the way are video game guys.
Proudly, by the way.
Did you hear what happened to the poor little Fortnite champ?
That won $3 million?
He won his $3 million.
I saw that.
He was doing a live stream, and somebody swatted him.
Swatted him. In other
So-
words, they called the SWAT team
Yeah,
over to his
they
house.
basically call a violent crime in at the house, which causes the SWAT team to be sent out.
Yeah.
And this happened during a live stream. Like, he was live streaming.
That's a thing.
playing a
That
video
people are doing
game.
that now.
And this
And the
poor-
dad went to the door.
Yeah, they were like kicking the door down.
Recorded the whole thing on his Twitch.
Yep. They came in like guns a blazing while he was.
It's like, what is this shit? That's
no,
crazy.
I know what swatting is. That's
Well,
where.
even beyond the fact that this kid just won $3 million for playing a video
Playing
game.
Fortnite. The total pot on that was $30 million. So, like, there were, obviously there were, I don't know how many players that were involved in that tournament, but the total pool was $30 million. So I mean, there were a lot of people that got paid in that, but obviously he was the grand prize winner, $3 million
for playing video
Fortnite.
game.
Yep, and now he's doing. I saw a thing on Facebook. He's doing seminars to teach people.
I know what Fortnite is.
It's a free video
I know what
game.
it is.
Yep.
I've never
I
played
really
it.
don't
but
even know what it is.
They were running.
I know it's a game, but that's all I know.
They run services now where people go out and they tutor. They charge a service to tutor kids how to play the game because the kids are getting so frustrated they can't win that they have people that come out and show them how to be successful.
But what is it? It's like building blocks?
It's no. That's Minecraft.
It's like
what
a
it is,
shooting
it's
game.
A shooter game.
And you build forts.
It's pretty much you're in a group of 100 players, and you have to pretty much survive out of all of them. Be the final the final
So
winner.
Hunger
with the victor.
Games.
Pretty much. My
Kinda,
son
sorta.
plays it, and he's actually been playing with professional players. But he's 13. He just started his YouTube channel streaming live.
This is the thing. This is how the game works. They take 100 people,
Mm-hmm.
and they put them in an area that's big.
Mm-hmm.
And then every so often, I don't know how many minutes it is because I don't play.
The area
space
closes.
shrinks down, and pushes more people
Closer
into
together.
a smaller space
Mm-hmm.
so that everybody has to kill each other off. And then, of course, if you're the last guy
Hunger
standing,
Games.
then you won. Yeah.
And then they have like squads. It's like 4-on-4.
Mm-hmm.
So it's four people versus. So those go.
Never
those
played.
go
Never
longer.
played once.
Poor Jake.
It's
Babe, we don't even own a console.
It's a silly game. It's fun, but it's a time. It's one of those
No,
games
it's
that
not. It's
you,
not fun.
You get caught in it, and it's like
It's
all
not
of a sudden,
good?
No, I like first-person shooter games, and that shit's not fun.
It's just silly.
No.
It's just a
Halo,
silly
that's
game.
fucking fun.
Yeah, Call of Duty all
that's
day.
fucking
Yep.
fun. Gears of War, I fucking love it. Fortnite, no.
And I think they said they make 15 billion annually.
I believe it
For a free game. The game is
because you
free.
pay for like the dances and you pay for the clothes. And you pay for,
Dances?
because
Dances?
they
What do you mean
dances
pay for
when
the
they win.
dances?
Because you
They
can
do
like taunt
dances.
people, like you shoot them and then you just like you hit a button and
But
it
you
does a dance.
pay to.
Yes, you pay to get
Your
you pay to
character
get
learns
certain
new
things.
dances, yeah, and new clothes.
Yep.
And-
Every month they release something new.
Wait, so people.
Yeah.
For an imaginary thing?
Absolutely.
And there's people that have tried to sue Fortnite for the dances, like what's his name, Alfonso Ribeiro.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he
Tried to
did
sue.
too.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a lot of the people with the dances have tried to sue Fortnite because they used the backpack kid because they used those dances in the
Babe,
game.
I'm so glad we don't own a console because I would be tripping. I
Ask
think
Jeremy.
he would trip
I
too.
bet he
though.
knows.
Yeah, he probably does. Do you guys know Whitney Cummings?
Yes.
Comedian?
Yes.
What show was she on? Jeff, what show was she on? I know she was on a show.
She was on.
what
She's
was that
mainly on a bunch of the Comedy Central
No,
roasts.
but she had
and
a
she had her
sitcom.
own TV sitcom called Whitney.
That's it.
And it
That's
had
right.
that other funny guy. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
I
She
don't
did a
remember his
fake-
name.
The one
She
that
did a
did the
sex doll
Eminem.
of
The
herself.
one that did the Eminem video.
She did a sex doll of herself?
She in her last comedy special, she actually brought out a sex doll of herself.
Yeah, it's on. If you watch her podcast with the JRE, the Joe Rogan Experience, she did last week, looks just
Like her?
Looks just like her, yeah.
She brought
Well,
a sex doll of herself on.
Yeah, on the stage.
Apparently that she released an Instagram photo where there was a nip slip.
Oh.
And when she realized there was a nip slip, she immediately deleted it.
Okay, by that time, too bad everybody screenshotted it.
Yep.
Exactly. So all the guys that screenshotted it started trying to extort her to pay up before they released the photo.
For a nip slip.
For a nip slip.
Okay.
In Whitney's own words, she says, in April, I accidentally posted an Insta story that showed nipple. Once I realized I deleted, the people who took screen grabs are trying to get money from me. Some said they have offers to sell them. Some are asking for money to not post the photo.
She should probably talk to Kim Kardashian.
So I think she posted it herself.
Ray J.
She posted
Yeah.
it herself, right?
And make millions
to
of
get out
dollars.
of town.
She did. So she reposted it. I don't have the picture here. I don't think we can show it on Facebook anyways, but
Sure we can. Why not?
What
I
about
don't have
that
the
girl? I don't, one of you guys posted it. I couldn't find it. Where she got her nipples removed. So is that true?
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, it's
Is
not
fake?
real.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
That's fake?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because there was a story that was floating around about some like porn star looking chick that removed her nipples and just had like round bags hanging off her her
So
chest.
she can post it
so
on
she can
Instagram?
post any Instagram photo and not get any shit for it.
Because nipples make the tit.
I guess so.
That's the difference. The nipples.
Her pictures actually still got shit, and IG's still kept deleting them.
Well,
but is it real?
It wasn't real. She edited. She photoshopped her nipples off. It isn't real. Right after I saw it, I went on her Instagram and on her Twitter.
Of course you did.
Yes, I did, because I wanted to see if that
Just
was
our
real.
resident stalker.
And yeah, it wasn't real.
I'm pretty sure that was Marianne approved, though.
Well, I'll tell you what. It's getting late. It is 10:30. It's time to wrap up the show. And this has been Jake, Tom, Steph, and Missy with Radio Underland, our weekly big show. We had our guest, Daniel Berman, presidential candidate, which we had a long conversation with. But it's time to wrap it up because Steph needs to go to sleep. Tom needs to go to sleep. Missy doesn't matter. She just has to watch her dogs. And by the way, Miss, so we have like 4 steps that lead up to our domicile.
I'm laughing because
Your stoop.
Our stoop.
Missy already knows where this is going.
Yes, because it's happened to me like 3 times.
We have 4 steps that lead up to our stoop. And she has a ramp there for the dogs because the dogs are too stupid to walk up steps. They need a ramp.
Even though there's only 4 of them.
And today, right before we left, I happened to step on that ramp as I was running down the stairs. And that ramp let loose. It like slid out. And I ate shit like a fucking motherfucker. And I'm sure I've got a bruise on the back of my calf from sliding down the stairs and hitting the concrete because of Missy's fucking handicap capable.
You know, she unscrewed that shit so it would slip
honestly,
Oh,
no.
my God.
I'm laughing because I know what it feels like because I've done it like 4 times. It literally in the middle of the night, halfway asleep, trying to let the dogs out to the bathroom.
I am sure when I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be so fucking sore, which I have to wake up at 5 a.m.
I'm so sorry because I just had a Step Brothers flashback when she said 4 times. I didn't want the stamina. I said it 4 times. It's just what it reminded me of. I'm
No,
sorry.
I legit have done it like 4 times in the middle of the night, like my eyes half closed, half open, and it was letting the dogs out. And I have legit eaten shit off those 4 steps to where like.
So can't you put a rubber bottom so they don't move or something like that?
They move. There's nothing I can do about it.
They move.
You just bolt it to the stairs or something.
No, because you have to be able to move it out of the way sometimes.
Oh.
And like literally, the ramp is probably like, I don't know.
It would suck for the dogs in.
It's like a foot wide, and we get like 4 inches off the steps.
Yeah, those fuckers would have to walk down the
now,
steps.
Nate, do you have our shutdown video? I can't hear you.
Yes.
You do? All right, well, this is Jake with Radio Underland with Tom, Steph, and Missy.
Good night, boys and girls.
And we're done.
We'll see you next week.
And Nate's going to run the closing credits, and we're out.
Really, I didn't think that.
But that's the point. If you don't think, you shouldn't talk.
Jake Fight. Tom Blackstrom. Stephen Blackshear. Missy Fight.
Executive producer. Visual media director. Visual and industrial plant Nathan Anderson. News segment director Raymond Rosa. Game segment contributor Shanna Henderson. Chef and craft services Aaron Weezer.
I have an excellent idea. Let's change the subject.
Down the rabbit hole with idiots.
Well, after this I shall think nothing of falling down the stairs.